Hey, hey. I've spent the last 2 hours negotiating a deal on a leaf vacuum. That's how I know I'm getting old.
What you think about when you're born into a fire. Let them burn it out. Sell them to the richest buyer. They wanna let the world decay. They tell us lies and fade away, fade away. We feel betrayed. We were raised to lose the race. Wake at the back of the pack, kill it anyway. Listen up now, because we're never dropping out. Beat the odds, beat the big house. The brains are bigger than the doubt. We've been thinking for ourselves, never let the truth fade away. This is bigger than ourselves, we won't let the world burn away, burn away. We feel betrayed. We were raised to lose the race. Wake at the back of the pack, kill it anyway. To blame, haters face the world's mistakes. Wake at the back of the pack, kill it anyway. And we feel betrayed. We were raised to lose the race. Wake at the back of the pack, kill it anyway. To blame, haters face the world's mistakes. Wake at the back of the pack, kill it anyway.
All right, we'll stop that there. Let's go.
Hey Daddies, it's me, the Linda Binda from TikTok. I wanted to make this video because I wanted to thank you for watching Cold Beer Confessionals with Will Bird. I think that's just incredible. I've watched a few episodes and I'm just like very intrigued. But you know what I'm most intrigued in is Big Daddy's meat stick. I heard that it's very thick, like a good old German sausage. You know, Linda and her coochie loves that. Oh, never mind. Let's not go there. Anyways, I hope you have a good show and enjoy it as you can. There's a lot of weird things that go on, especially when it comes from the realm of Linda Bindeland. So, enjoy the show. Thanks for watching. Peace out.
Welcome everybody. A little bit of a later start tonight. Thank you guys for joining us. Thank you for being here. I appreciate it. Thanks for hanging out with me. Yeah, we got a couple things to cover. We'll talk about the Ukraine, the terrible, horrible piece of shit fucking peace deal that's being offered to Ukraine. And it's basically being offered as you either take it or the U.S. will no longer help you. But Trump's so fucking goddamn bipolar on everything. Who even knows if that's true? Who the fuck knows? Basically, Steve Witkoff, Marco Rubio, and a Russian propagandist sat down without Ukraine, without their input, without their any back and forth, without any discussion with Ukraine, and decided that we're going to set up a fucking peace plan. And it's basically a wish list of everything that Russia actually wants, and a bunch of handcuffing ourselves so Russia can expand even further and do what they want to do already. Which involves taking all the bordering countries around them to where they can have a more defensible border. Right now, they have a gigantic border. Russia has a gigantic border that's pretty indefensible. There's no mountain ranges. There's no rivers. There's not a whole lot on a vast part of their border. What they'd like is to cut that down by 5 or 6 times and have a more defendable border. And you do that by what Vladimir Putin ran on, which is rebuilding the USSR, seizing the countries around it, especially if we're sidetracked with war over Taiwan, and no one's really there to stop him. All this is asking Russia to be nice, and I don't like saying, oh, you got to recognize Ukraine as a sovereign country. Yeah, they already did that, right? What about the Budapest Memorandum? They've already made all these agreements. They just don't keep them, right? Over and over again. They say, oh, well, Ukraine attacked us. Oh, well, that was a civil war, and we just decided to support the Russian people in that civil war. It's so fucking stupid. Russia is going to, they'll agree to whatever, but that doesn't mean that they'll hold up their end of the deal. And what the fuck is wrong? By the way, if you want to support the show, that's how I pay the bills. That's this link behind me. It'll be in the chat if you want to click on it. It is that just quick tools link that the mods have. It just takes you to, you can still go to buy me a coffee if you want to. This just puts them all in one place. Don't click PayPal and just buy me a coffee. Anyways, how fucking often have we seen someone from Trump's administration think in their mind that they're sending a text message and in reality post it to social media? Like, I feel like we've seen that 10 times already. Now, Marco Rubio's trying to push back. Like, this plan was leaked, okay? This peace plan. And then was it Witkoff, I guess, that thought he was responding to a message on Twitter and put out, or maybe it was somebody else within the administration, but said, oh, it must have been leaked by K, just the initials K. It must have been leaked by K, which is clearly the other guy, the Russian propagandist or whatever. Hold on, I got his name here. Kirill Dmitriev. Kirill. So they literally thinks he's sending a message and actually sends a response to a public tweet and says, oh, that must have been leaked by K. They just use the initial K, so obviously they mean the Russian guy. Now, Marco Rubio's trying to push back on this because they've got a lot of flack. There are a ton of current Congress members that are ready to sanction the fuck out of Russia, left and right, that are like, Russia's going too far. We need to do something. We can't keep playing around, rolling out the red carpet, having Trump pretend like he's fucking on the same level as Putin while Putin plays him like a fucking fiddle. So Marco Rubio had to kind of defend this to a bunch of his former colleagues. And his current defense of this is saying, no. That's not our peace plan we've been working on for weeks with this guy. For fucking weeks with Kirill. Instead, that's just the Russian wish list. That's what they want. That's their wish list they put out. Secretary of State Marco Rubio told U.S. senators Saturday that the sweeping peace plan to end the nearly 4-year war between Russia and Ukraine was not America's, but merely a leaked Russian wish list. Rubio told a bipartisan delegation at the Halifax International Security Forum in Canada Saturday afternoon that the 28-point blueprint supposedly crafted to end the war is actually a Russian proposal, not a U.S. initiative, according to South Dakota GOP Senator Mike Rounds. He made it very clear to us that we are the recipients of a proposal that was delivered to one of our representatives, Rounds said. It's not our recommendation. It is not our peace plan. It is a proposal that was received, and as an intermediary, we have made arrangements to share it, and we did not release it. It was leaked. Now, again, that's not what Ukraine's saying. Ukraine's basically saying we've been presented with this bullshit, and we either take it or America's walking. Rounds, however, said the Trump administration wants to utilize it as a starting point, adding that the plan looked more like it was written in Russian to begin with. Independent Maine Senator Angus King said that, according to Rubio, the plan was a wish list for the Russians. The peace plan sees Kiev surrendering the entirety of its Donbass region, including territory not controlled by Moscow, for more than a decade, shrinking its military by a third and pledging to never, ever join NATO, adding it to their constitution that they won't join NATO. President Trump has given Zelensky until Thanksgiving to accept the framework of the deal. Speaking to reporters outside the White House Saturday, Trump said the U.S. proposal was not his final offer, but warned his patience was running thin, telling the Post that if Ukraine President Zelensky rejects the plan, then he can continue to fight his little heart outs. The plan, however, has faced sharp criticism both at home and abroad. European leaders pushed back Saturday on the proposal, seen as widely favorable to Moscow, and huddled on the sidelines of the G20 summit in South Africa to discuss ways to support Kiev and rewrite portions of the peace plan after Zelensky signals his country could face losing its dignity and its freedom. Wars cannot be ended by major powers over the heads of other countries affected, German Chancellor Friedrich Merz said at the summit. We're still quite a way from a good outcome for everyone. Republican Senators Mitch McConnell and Lindsey Graham also took aim at the plan, with Kentucky lawmaker claiming Russian President Vladimir Putin has been trying to play Trump for a fool. One of them even accused Trump of just spreading Russian propaganda, like you're literally just repeating Russian propaganda. Rubio, U.S. Special Envoy Steve Witkoff, and Army Secretary Dan Driscoll will reportedly sit down with Ukrainian advisors and representatives from France, Germany, and the UK in Geneva, Switzerland on Sunday to continue discussions before engaging Russian officials. The White House did not immediately respond to the Post's request for comment. So let's hop over here, and this is something good Ryan McBeth's good for. Ryan McBeth goes over the entire 28-point plan, and we'll start there. Let me get you some audio.
A 28-point White House peace plan for Ukraine was leaked today, so I'm going to go through all 28 points step by step, the good, the bad, and the truly baffling. If you want to read these points yourself, head on over to ryanbeth.substack.com. I have them listed there for free. This is not the best outcome for Ukraine, but as pleasant as it would be for Russia to collapse, which I have a whole video about this coming out at 12 p.m. Eastern today, if Russia collapses, what we get is a fractured state. So imagine the breakup of Yugoslavia, but
Biblical prophecy was meant for the literal first century Hebrew people. It does nothing to predict the future. It's the dumbest shit I've ever heard in my life.
Some of the warlords have nuclear weapons. If Russia collapsed tomorrow, that would be...
I saw a source that said Putin wouldn't even agree to this deal, to the deal his guy wrote up. It hasn't been ran by Putin yet, right? It's from a guy that just does like Russian propaganda that is associated with Putin, but they've not even asked him if he agrees to this deal yet. Would he sign it or not? I don't know.
Manageable. The nightmare scenario happens if...
It doesn't really matter. Whatever he signs, we already know he's going to break everything they've agreed to already. They fucking broken.
Collapses Babylon AD style while the United States is fighting China over Taiwan. So if this war between Ukraine and Russia drags out until 2027, 2028, and the U.S. is at war with China over Taiwan, now we have to pull troops from the Pacific to go secure Russian nuclear weapons if Europe can't get it done themselves. Not a great outcome.
This is something we don't want to happen. As much as fun as it sounds, it's not going to be. It's going to be a lot of effort to do cleanup if Russia actually collapses. And they're running out of money faster than a lot of people think, okay? Their economy is on a war footing, meaning that every man, woman, and child is working for something for the war, kind of the way we were like in World War II, okay? And their economy's not doing great right now. And if they back off this war footing, like we don't need drones, we don't need bombs, we don't need this, we don't need that, right? If they back off that and then have a flood of veterans come back in that are highly trained, that have been in combat, that know how to use a weapon, that are angry about their service, and they come back to an economy that's also collapsing at the same time, there'll probably be a revolution in Russia. The problem is, if Russia collapses, someone's got to go secure a shit ton of nuclear weapons. Can Europe do it by themselves? Probably not. Does that mean the U.S. has to lead a coalition force? Probably. That takes a lot of fucking manpower and a lot of people on the ground to secure these weapons before someone else does. And there's a ton of them. We more than likely know where all of them are, but there is a ton of them. We definitely don't want that to happen if it's 2026, 2027, when a lot of people are predicting we're going to have to face China over Taiwan. Right? That splits our manpower. We're on two different fronts. We probably don't want the war still going on then either. Because if we did have to step into some type of scenario, Russia loses its fucking mind and starts launching nukes, and we're spread thin fighting China, we need a resolution that punishes Russia, makes Ukraine whole because they didn't fucking do anything, right? They just got invaded. Punishes Russia substantially, but not in a way that they turn into fucking the Weimar Republic after World War I. Makes Ukraine whole and stabilizes that country so it doesn't go into free fall and collapse with all their nuclear weapons up for grabs to the highest bidder. We need some type of solution that kind of walks that line.
I've also said before, there is no win. Russia loses this war. Ukraine loses this war. The question is, who loses more? Right now, this peace plan enhances Russia what might be considered a win. Like I said, full 28 points can be seen at ryanpet.substack.com. You want to support the channel, grab a NORAD Christmas sweater from Bunker Branding. At least the NORAD alliance with Canada is unshakable. I have a flight to catch at 4. My watch is charging at 4 p.m. Eastern time, so there's going to be a lot less editing and graphics on this video than normal. Let's get started. Number one, sovereignty will be confirmed. So this is a minor win for Ukraine. Russia must agree.
This is nothing. I wouldn't even call it a minor win. Oh, Ukraine is a country and deserves to exist. Does anybody believe that is anything other than fucking lip service from Vladimir Putin?
That Ukraine has a right to exist. The only issue is that it doesn't really mean anything. Dictators lie. I mean, Russia lied in 2022 when they said, oh, we're not going to invade Ukraine during our exercises in Belarus. Why would this be any different? So this is more symbolic than anything else. Number 2, a comprehensive non-aggression agreement will be concluded between Russia, Ukraine, and Europe. All ambiguities of the last 30 years will be considered settled.
I don't even know what the fuck this is. Ambiguity? What? It's kind of a broad term. Like what, where borders are and who's in charge and this, like.
I'm not sure what those ambiguities are. The biggest ambiguity is Crimea, which Russia literally stole. Now, they stole it from a Ukrainian government in 2014, which was a freaking basket case. Since then, the Ukrainian government has gotten better. But again, can you sign a non-aggression agreement with Russia when Russia breaks the rules all the time? So
Russia's always had a non-aggression agreement with Ukraine, right? Since the Budapest Memorandum. We literally signed a document saying, hey, Ukraine, you have a shit ton of nuclear weapons. We don't think you should have them, right? If you give up your nuclear weapons, Russia won't invade you, and if they do, the U.S. will come fuck them up. Russia is invaded again and again while lying and saying it was a civil war or that we were training or Crimea wants to be part of Russia, you know, all this stupid shit. No one stepped in to help them the way they promised to.
Oh, you know, it seems to lock in concessions from Ukraine in return for unenforceable promises by Russia. Number 3, it is expected that Russia will not invade neighboring countries and NATO will not expand further.
This is stupid. This is so dumb. It is expected that Russia will not invade neighboring countries. Russia is telling you Vladimir Putin ran on and promised to invade neighboring countries. And NATO will not expand at all in any capacity. So no one can fucking join NATO now. I think Ryan McBeth used the example like fucking Australia wants to join NATO. We're going to tell them fuck off. Not to mention, we could really use a lot of the information Ukraine has right now, being on the bleeding edge of drone warfare currently.
So this is the most laughable part of the document. Russia must take Ukraine, and then it must take the Baltics, and then try to take Poland. One of Russia's...
Look at this. Russia has this, it's going over in this chat. Russia has this giant fucking non-defendable border, right? There's just not a lot of stuff there to help them. There's no mountain ranges. There's no waterways. There's just not enough stuff there to help them defend this big ass border, right? They see that. And if they can take that border and chop it down by taking these other countries and make that border a hell of a lot smaller and more defensible, they will.
Must take Ukraine, and then it must take the Baltics and then try to take Poland. One of Russia's biggest problems is that they have this massive indispensable land border with no major rivers or mountains. So they have to take Ukraine, and then they can kind of secure the Carpathian Mountains, then they take the Baltics, and they take Poland. All of those countries are on the menu because it shrinks a 1,400-mile border down to 150 miles.
1,400-mile border. That's extremely hard to defend, down to a 150-mile border with Europe.
Permanently freezing NATO gives Russia exactly what it wants. And there's no question as to whether...
I think that's Vladimir Putin's overall plan, is if he can get Trump in, he can flatter Trump, he can make this painful and expensive for everybody else and still survive. It's less about getting Ukraine right now, and it's more about getting the agreement that Russia will never expand. So then he'll send out his diplomats, his spies, his covert, everybody into every fucking country, right? And start turning the people the same way they did with Crimea, right? Inserting people, starting civil wars, putting native Russian born people there, the Wagner group or whatever the fuck they want to call it now, putting all that in these countries to flip them at a later date. But if he gets that, NATO will not expand anymore, then he knows he's free to continue going.
Whether or not this is legal. The kind of deal with being a nation state is that any sovereign nation state can make any kind of agreement it wants with any other nation state. Nobody is forced to join NATO. Nobody is pressured to join NATO. In fact, joining NATO is a pain in the ass because you have to bring your military up to NATO standards. But this whole, all right, NATO isn't going to expand anymore, that's insane. There's no other word for it. It's insane. If Australia wants to join NATO, we're going to say no. Like, why would we say no to that, right? So intentionally handcuffing ourselves while not requiring any kind of consent.
No one cares. God damn. No one cares about your religious take on the peace. No one cares about that. None of it's real. It's make-believe. It's a fucking, the fucking unicorn I had a vision of this morning that was standing at the end of a rainbow in my front yard told me that if Trump finishes out this term, everybody's going to hell. Like, it's that silly.
Concessions from Russia is absolutely insane. Number 4, a dialogue will be held between Russia and NATO, mediated by the United States, to resolve all security issues and create conditions for de-escalation in order to ensure global security and increase opportunities for cooperation in future.
So they're going to bring Russia to the table with NATO and the United States and say, and we're a member of NATO, but we're also going to mediate this meeting. And then, we want to make them feel comfortable.
economic development. So essentially, the U.S. becomes a referee, which also makes us the bad guy to both sides. And meanwhile, we aren't selling any weapons to Ukraine, which doesn't deter Russia. Number 5, Ukraine will receive reliable security guarantees. So
no one knows what this means. They had a security guarantee with the Budapest Memorandum, and we didn't do shit. Oh, they'll have security guarantees like they did last time? Why would Ukraine sign this?
Guarantees are only as strong as the guarantor's political mood. And in the U.S., that changes every 4 years. Sometimes with the current administration, it changes every week or every day or with every...
I mean, their back would have to really, really, really be against the wall. And they're like, man, if America pulls out their support, then we're going to lose the capital. Russia's going to take all of Ukraine. And now all we can save is this little bitty piece, you know? I mean, it would have to be really fucking horrible. But it seems more like they're going to say, fuck you, right? And the rest of Europe's going to try to step up even more just in case Trump throws another hissy fit and pulls support again.
Every truth that's put out on Truth Social. So, allowing Ukraine to join NATO would be the best guarantee, but for some reason, we're taking this off the table. Number 6, the size of the Ukrainian armed forces will be limited to 600,000 personnel. So this isn't as disastrous as you think. Yeah, you can't disarm a country while negotiating for peace, but kind of like in my alternate history novel, The Last Republic, there are ways around it. In my novel, the U.S. declares war against the mostly Mormon nation of Deseret over water rights when Deseret starts building the Boulder Dam. Deseret counterattacks. It takes most of northern Arizona, and in the peace treaty between the U.S. and Deseret, both sides agree not to put any military in Arizona. So Deseret creates the DSS, which is a gendarme Mountie kind of organization, and the U.S. creates Arizona State Police, which is basically a paramilitary organization. So both sides have military, just called a different name.
Right. This is what always happens. They just build a military force and then call it the border police or the such and such special unit.
I could see, and by the way, get the book on Amazon.com or Audible if you're a Marine, but both sides created gendarmes. I could see Ukraine creating a sort of gendarme paramilitary force, calling them the State Security Forces or State Security Force Reserves. So this isn't as big of a deal as you might think. 7, Ukraine agrees to enshrine in its constitution that will not join NATO, and NATO agrees.
So they have to put it in their constitution, and NATO agrees to include in its statutes a provision that Ukraine will not be admitted ever in the future. How dumb is this? That's what Russia wants.
To include in its statutes a provision for Ukraine not to be admitted in the future. This is a disaster, both for NATO and Ukraine, especially since Ukraine is so...
Not to mention, we're just ignoring the fucking war crimes they're committing, mostly because we're committing our own in the fucking Caribbean, but still.
For the U.S. when it comes to drone and counter-drone tech. It's like we're just willingly giving up a regional partner, and the only one that has recent experience in a large-scale combat operations conflict. And that's a valuable friend to have.
Yes. Right? The last war we fought has now been years, and it was, operations in urban environments and counter coin operations, right? But when's the last time the U.S. fought a large-scale war? It's been a long time, but we're probably facing one with China eventually. Seems to be going that way. In the next few years, at least China's planning on that way. It seems like we're preparing as well. We could use an ally that's recently fought a large-scale war like this.
Number 8, NATO agrees not to station troops in Ukraine. This is very bad because Ukraine essentially becomes a de facto buffer state. Number 9, European fighter jets will be stationed in Poland. Again, this is very bad because Ukraine becomes a buffer state. Number 10, here's the U.S. guarantee. The U.S. will receive compensation for the guarantee. If Ukraine invades Russia, it will lose the guarantee. If Russia invades Ukraine, in addition to a decisive and coordinated military response, all global sanctions will be reinstated, recognition of the new territory, and all other benefits of this deal will be revoked.
So listen, it's like Trump is telling Ukraine, you have to give us money for this guarantee. How much money? Who knows? And if Ukraine invades Russia, they lose their money. Russia, it doesn't say anything about compensation. It says if Russia invades Ukraine, there'll be a decisive coordinated military response, and they'll get sanctions reinstated. Recognition of the new territory and all other benefits of this deal will be revoked. They lose the deal. But it doesn't say anything about them losing the guarantee, the money. Like, what the fuck? We're making them pay us so we mediate a deal and they lose their territory, their right to join NATO. They lose basically fucking everything, and Russia gets everything. And if they fight back, then they lose their money too.
If Ukraine launches a missile at Moscow or St. Petersburg, that causes a security guarantee will be deemed invalid. Now, a couple of things to unpack here. I'm not sure who's compensating the U.S. here. It sounds like someone is supposed to pay us. Is this a retainer for negotiating peace? But who is that? Is that Ukraine? Is that Russia? I think it's supposed to be Ukraine. The next words are interesting. If Ukraine invades Russia, they'll lose the guarantee. So I guess that means Ukraine has to put up money, but Russia doesn't. Russia just gets their sanctions removed, but then they get slapped back on if they invade. There is a section here that says if Russia invades Ukraine, in addition to a coordinated military response, which does that mean NATO will respond? Does that mean the U.S. will respond? We don't really know. That could be a good thing, that the U.S. is saying, we're going to back this up. Russia, you get to keep the territory you have, but if you take one more step, we attack you.
That's still not a great deal for Ukraine, but at least it's a fucking solid deal. Like, hey, whatever you got now, draw the battle lines hard. They're done. We're not fighting over territory anymore. You keep yours, you keep that one. But if you take one more fucking inch, the full power of NATO's coming. That's at least a security guarantee. But we're so weak on the language. Oh, there'll be a decisive, coordinated military strike.
I mean, that's a nice little thing to put in a document. I just don't believe we actually would, because we're conceding so much to Russia already. I don't think Russia believes we would actually back up these guarantees.
Of course they don't. We didn't back up the last one.
So, yeah, this doesn't make a lot of sense.
Trump's talking to fucking Putin on the phone about peace while they're literally bombing children in cities. And then Trump's like, I'm very upset with him. Next time, I'm only going to have 4 Marines roll out his wet red carpet.
As a deterrent strategy, saying you're going to slap sanctions back on Russia, because Russia's already fighting under sanctions, and they're managing to do it, even though it is just slowly destroying their economy. So this actually wouldn't change anything. 11, Ukraine is eligible for EU membership and will receive short-term preferential access to European market while this issue is being considered. I mean, it's not a guarantee for EU membership, but it's better than nothing. And I think really one of the points of this war was Russia didn't like the idea of Ukraine kind of getting closer to the West or getting EU membership.
Yes.
Number 12, a powerful global pact.
That's what kicked off the shit in 2014, right? And they had voted to start trading more with the EU and moving away from trading with Russia. Their Russian puppet president at the time was like, okay, well, their Congress voted to do this. And he's like, nah, I'm not signing that deal. I'm going to sign a deal with Russia instead. And here come the protests and all the people. And
package of measures to rebuild Ukraine, including but not limited to the creation of Ukraine Development Fund to invest in fast-growing industries, including technology, data centers, and artificial intelligence. The United States will cooperate with Ukraine to jointly rebuild, develop, modernize, and operate Ukraine's gas infrastructure, including pipelines and storage facilities. Joint efforts to rehabilitate war-affected areas for restoration, reconstruction, modernization of cities and residential areas, infrastructure development, extraction of minerals and natural resources. The World Bank will develop a special financing package to accelerate these efforts. This is good for Ukraine. It means that the money starts flowing into Ukraine for rebuilding infrastructure and development. It also means demining, which is going to be a big deal. There's a lot of Russian bombs all over Ukraine that need to be disarmed and disposed of. Number 13. Russia will be reintegrated into the global economy. The lifting of sanctions will be discussed and agreed upon in stages on a case-by-case basis. The United States will enter into a long-term economic cooperation agreement for mutual development in the areas of energy, natural resource infrastructure, artificial intelligence, data centers, rare earth metals, extraction projects in the Arctic, and other mutually beneficial corporate opportunities. Russia will also be invited to rejoin the G8. Now, this is kind of where I get what the White House is doing. After World War I, Germany was not only humiliated, but forced to pay reparations. And this is essentially what led to World War II. So this package is designed to make sure that Russia doesn't collapse, and we suddenly end up with multiple warlords who have nuclear weapons running around Russia, Babylon, AD style. And the harsh truth is
again,
that Russia collapses.
That would be bad. Obviously, that'd be bad if Russia does fully collapse and can't secure their munitions.
Get away with this. It isn't one of those movies with running around Russia, Babylon, AD style. And the harsh truth is that unless Russia collapses, Russia is probably going to get away with this. It isn't one of those movies where the screen freeze.
That's the options. Either Russia collapses or we fully commit, invade, and start a war with Russia. NATO does. Or they're probably going to get away with a lot of the shit they've done.
Frames into black and white in the crowd, and the screen crawl says, and Russia was...
We don't want them to collapse. We don't want the fucking, we don't want a full-on war with Russia right now, but...
punished, and people lived in peace forever and ever. That's not real life, man. That's not the world we live in. So any kind of peace agreement might eventually involve restarting trade with Russia or what's left of it. Number 14, frozen funds will be used as follows. $100 billion of frozen Russian assets will be invested in U.S.-led efforts to rebuild and invest in Ukraine. The U.S. will receive 50% of the profits from this venture. Europe will have $100 billion to increase the amount of investment available for Ukraine's reconstruction. Frozen European funds will be unfrozen. The remainder of frozen Russian funds will be invested into a separate U.S.-Russian investment vehicle, which will implement joint public projects in specific areas. This fund will be aimed at strengthening relations and increasing common interests to create a strong incentive not to return to conflict. So trade doesn't always necessarily mean a country won't invade. I mean, again, look at the last republic. The U.S. and Deseret were major trading partners. Deseret was sending lithium and copper to the United States. The United States was turning that into trucks and batteries and sending finished goods over to Deseret, and we still invaded. In fact, in my second novel, Lies to Real Men, Deseret cuts off copper to the United States after reports of the My Lai massacre happened, and Richard Nixon says to Kissinger, so now the Saints have decided they're the conscience of the continent. They don't like what they saw in My Lai, so they shut off the copper and pretend they're Switzerland with scripture. Well, let me tell you, sir, Deseret doesn't get to play neutral. They live in our economy under our sky, and now they think they can ration our energy like it's penance. No, sir. You don't cut off minerals in this game, you're not neutral. You're a combatant, and sooner or later, we're going to have to treat them like one. And Russia has still invaded Ukraine, even though most of their gas, a lot of their gas, flows through Ukraine on its way to Europe. So trade doesn't always mean what you think it means, especially when you have a strong man with a lot of ego involved. So this is somewhat good for Ukraine financially. It's bad strategically. Yeah, Russia loses $100 billion in frozen assets, but they're making about $66 million a day in oil exports. So
We might just be prolonging this anyways because Russia wants to expand. They want that border. They want to rebuild it. They want to do everything. When they go for Poland, we're in whether we like it or not, as long as we want to be still be a member of NATO.
at the current price of oil, they can make that money back in about 4.5 years. So it's not economically devastating to Russia that they don't see that frozen.
Yes. NATO has been activated before.
Money again. It's actually probably about the harshest penalty.
Article 5 has been activated for the U.S. after 9/11. We had NATO member countries flying air defense missions around our border.
Slap on the wrist. Number 15, a joint American-Russian working group.
That's the only time Article 5 has been activated. But the reason for NATO is literally to keep Russia from spreading and attacking the rest of the countries around the United States, or I'm sorry, around the world that are member states of NATO.
Security issues will be established to promote and ensure compliance with all.
Article 4 has been activated a bunch of times. A bunch of Eastern European nations. After the annex of Crimea, all around that was 2014. Turkey requested consultations around Syria and the strengthening of the Islamic State area, or the strengthening of their borders with the Islamic State. Yeah, Article 4 was invoked right now for the current Ukrainian invasion. Article 4 is the consultation article, right? So it allows any member country to consult with any other allies it feels its territorial integrity, political independence, or security is threatened. They can call on NATO for consultations and help. That's Article 4, any country.
This agreement. So this means that Moscow gets to influence Western security decisions. I kind of feel like it's that scene from Rick and Morty where they're running from Scary Terry, like Russia and the whole thing, but it's more of a slap on the wrist. Number 15, a joint American-Russian working group on security issues will be established to promote and ensure compliance with all provisions of this agreement. So this means that Moscow gets to influence Western security decisions. I kind of feel like it's that scene from Rick and Morty where they're running from Scary Terry, like, why are we listening to that guy?
You can run, but you can't hide.
I say we try hiding.
But that's the opposite of what...
Yeah, well, since when are we taking this guy's advice on anything?
Russia will enshrine in law its policy of non-aggression towards Europe and Ukraine. Yeah, that's worthless. I mean,
You mean like the Budapest Memorandum? Oh, Russia's going to write it down that they're not going to attack Ukraine or Europe.
Russia changes laws whenever it wants. Number 17, the United States and Russia will agree to extend the validity of treaties on the non-proliferation and control of nuclear weapons, including the START 1 treaty. This is good for global security. It might not be a bad idea in general. The fewer nuclear weapons, the better. That's always a good idea. But this has nothing to do with Ukraine. 18, Ukraine agrees to be a non-nuclear state in accordance with the Treaty on Non-Proliferation of Nuclear Weapons. I mean, they're already a non-nuclear state, so really there's no change there. Number 19, the Zaporizhia nuclear power plant will be launched under the supervision of the IAEA, and the electricity produced will be distributed equally between Russia and Ukraine 50-50. This is very bad for Ukraine. This is a major piece of infrastructure that's just gone.
NATO is a defensive structure, but okay.
half of it's gone. And it kind of shows that war does pay off. There's also the technical aspect of like what happens at end of life. Who manages that? The IAEA? Who pays for it? Russia? Ukraine? Because I could easily say at the end of life of this nuclear plant, Russia just kind of walking away and going, oh, this is Ukraine's problem now. Who buys the fuel? Who's responsible for what? Does Ukraine get 2 reactors? Does Ukraine get a couple reactors and Russia gets a couple reactors? Like, how does this work? But there's a lot that can go wrong here, and how either side can work with each other when they just don't trust each other, I don't know. I don't have an answer for that. Number 20, both countries undertake to implement educational programs in schools and society aimed at promoting understanding and tolerance of different cultures and eliminating racism and prejudice. Ukraine will adopt EU rules on religious tolerance and the protection of linguistic minorities. Both countries will agree to abolish all discriminatory measures and guarantee the rights of Ukraine and Russian media and education. All Nazi ideology and activities must be rejected and prohibited. So, this is a pretty big concession to Russia, and also kind of like, I'm actually surprised this line doesn't talk about biolabs in Ukraine, right? There's a lot of Russian war talking points in here, which don't make any sense to the West, but it kind of means that Ukraine has to rewrite its domestic laws under foreign supervision, but it doesn't necessarily sound like Russia has to do the same, or maybe we're saying, oh yeah, you have to teach that discrimination is bad, like Russia's going to do that. Like, who's going to follow this? Ukraine, right? Russia doesn't get held accountable. So, there was this item here about the protection of linguistic minorities. There are some Russian-speaking Ukrainians, especially in the Donbass, and Ukraine was doing stuff like forcing people to speak Ukrainian in schools. But honestly, it's really not that different than people in the U.S. mandating that we teach English in schools, or that English should be the official language of the U.S. I mean, this is kind of akin to Mexico invading the U.S. under the pretext of protecting Spanish-speaking people against ICE, and with them withdrawing and saying, like, all right, well, we're going to withdraw if schools promise to teach Spanish instead of English in areas near the border. This is a concession to Russia's fantasy that there are Nazis in Ukraine and Ukraine is oppressing Russian-speaking minority. But you know, it's a country's own decision to choose what language they teach in schools or what language is available in government forums, and it's honestly something that both sides would likely ignore anyway. Number 21, territories, Crimea, Luhansk, Donetsk will be recognized as de facto Russian, including by the United States. Kherson, Zaporizhia will be frozen along the line of contact, which means de facto recognition along the line of contact. Russia will relinquish all other agreed territories it controls outside the 5 regions. Ukrainian forces will withdraw from the part of Donetsk Oblast that they currently control, and this withdrawal zone will be considered neutral demilitarized buffer zone, internationally recognized as territory belonging to the Russian Federation. Russian forces will not enter this demilitarized zone. I mean, I guess war does pay. I don't know who's going to be the peacekeepers in this demilitarized zone. I don't know what's going to keep Russia out of this demilitarized zone.
Right. What's to say they just creep up and slowly expand?
But make no mistake about it, this is ceding 20% of Ukraine to Russia for the low, low price of concessions by the United States. I've always believed that Ukraine probably wouldn't get the Donbass back. That means Donetsk and Luhansk.
Damn, it's a lot of Ukraine. They're just taking,
concessions
given to
the
them.
United States. I've always believed that Ukraine probably wouldn't get the Donbass back. That means Donetsk and Luhansk.
Yeah, he went from blaming fucking Zelensky for the war, because Zelensky said like, hey, you know, this is a threat, and like they're not going to stop at us. Eventually, it'll be on your shores, and you'll feel it. And Trump flips the fuck out, and they start questioning why he didn't wear a suit, and blaming him for starting this war, even though his country was invaded. To I'm very upset with Putin. Can't believe they're still dropping bombs. Like, it's fucking so crazy. Cutting off intelligence, sharing intelligence, cutting off weapons, sharing weapons, cutting off funding, sharing funding.
And that almost certainly means they wouldn't get Crimea back. Not because Ukrainian soldiers aren't brave, but because amphibious operations are hard. And they just simply don't have the troops to mount such an operation. But this is basically handing land to Russia without any kind of concessions, and it shows Putin, and more importantly, China, that war does pay. My biggest fear is that this will embolden China to take Taiwan. Number 22, after agreeing on future territorial agreements, both the Russian Federation and Ukraine undertake not only to change these agreements by force, any security guarantees will not apply in the event of a breach of commitment. I mean, security guarantees are very one-sided here. If Russia can fight under sanctions now, that means they can fight under sanctions in the future. This is meaningless. 23, Russia will not prevent Ukraine from using the Dnieper River for commercial activities, and agreements will be reached on the free transport of grain across the Black Sea. This is good for Ukraine and good for the Middle East, who is a major grain importer from Ukraine, but ultimately this is unenforceable. I mean, Russia will pull crap like they'll put a chain across the river and then shrug and say, oh, we put a chain across because we were swimming and we can't find the key to unlock it. It's the same crap that China is doing right now, dragging anchors and cutting undersea cables, or ramming into and using fire hoses against Filipino Coast Guard vessels. Like, we are going to allow Russia to basically execute bad behavior with no consequences. 24. A humanitarian committee will be established to resolve outstanding issues. All remaining prisoners and bodies exchanged on an all-for-all basis. All civilian detainees and hostages will be returned, including children. A family reunification program will be implemented. Measures will be taken to alleviate the suffering of the victims of the conflict. I mean, this is kind of required by the Geneva Conventions to repatriate all soldiers at the end of the conflict. I also wonder if Melania Trump had something to do with the repatriation of children. Maybe between 20,000 and 35,000 children were stolen by Russia from occupied Ukraine. And you know, what I find kind of crazy is that a lot of people in the Republican Party have been quiet about that when they love to protect children. They've been very vocal in the Epstein files, but strangely silent on Russia stealing up to 35,000 children. I mean, you either believe it.
Of course, they only want to save the kids when they think it's a political tool, right? They think Democrats are eating them.
Protecting children or you don't. So you might want to close that loop. Number 25, Ukraine will hold elections in 100 days. This is disastrous for Ukraine. Any kind of election under occupation is destabilizing. Another question is whether the people in these occupied territories get to vote. Do they get to leave? One thing I don't see in this document is, like, will people who are behind enemy lines who consider themselves Ukrainian get to go to Ukraine and vote in this election, or will they be forced behind this new Iron Curtain?
And now suddenly they're part of Russia and they can't leave, right? It's fucking insane.
The reason you see this provision is that Russia wants Zelensky gone. That was part of the reason for starting this war. Remove Zelensky, install a more pro-Russian leader as a figurehead. And you can be certain that Russia will do everything within its power to sway the election to a candidate that it wants. And
yes, they already cheat in the elections. They remember Crimea voted to join Russia while they had fucking tanks outside the polling places and fucking questioning everybody that come in to vote that day and flooded the vote. Like,
they will use disinformation tactics. Number 26, all parties involved in this conflict will receive full amnesty for their actions during the war and agree not to make any claims or consider any complaints in the future. This is probably the most morally outrageous part of this document. It means that the people who suffered from occupation under Russian security services in Bucha, Mariupol, Kherson, they don't get to see justice. This is also...
They're just fucked. They killed your kids. We don't care. They raped your wife. We don't fucking care. Everybody gets a clean slate.
Tough one, because typically you only get to prosecute war crimes if you win, right? And there are a heck of a lot of Vietnamese that committed war crimes against U.S. prisoners, right? The Hanoi Hilton. But are those guys ever going to get prosecuted? No, they're never going to get prosecuted. You only get to engage in prosecutions if you win. But this also means that if some of the perpetrators who travel internationally, they can't get arrested for their crimes dragged in front of the Hague. So this is morally indefensible. Ideally, people who commit war crimes should have to look over their shoulders for the rest of their lives. And I'm not talking about soldiers who participated in the conflict. That's war. All right? Yeah, those soldiers who participated in the conflict as general infantrymen, yeah, they should absolutely get amnesty. But the people who knowingly executed civilians, or the people who ordered it, or the people who coordinated it, yeah, they need to be brought to justice. But that's probably not going to happen.
That's the only way this shit has teeth, right? If you don't fucking do this, then the next time people are going to be like, well, we just have to hold out long enough till they give us fucking amnesty.
27, this agreement will be legally binding. Okay. Its implementation will be monitored and guaranteed by the Peace Council headed by President Donald J. Trump. Sanctions will be imposed for violations. I mean, again, Russia can fight under sanctions, so this doesn't mean much. Number 28, once all parties agree to the memorandum, the ceasefire will take effect immediately after both sides retreat to the agreed points to begin implementation agreement. Generally, freezing the line of contact is bad for Ukraine because Russia will yeet as many men forward to the front lines as possible in the last hours for the peace treaty, just like in All Quiet on the Western Front. This document is a bad deal for Ukraine and a bad deal for the U.S., but it is a great deal for Russia and for China. And I say China.
It's the only people who benefit.
Yeah, because I have said this from the beginning. This war is not about Ukraine. It is about Taiwan. And the way we behave in Ukraine will let China know how we will behave over Taiwan. And this is bad because it makes the U.S. look incredibly weak.
Taiwan's our other ally, and China is about to invade them. Like, they are prepping for this. They are storing blood in blood banks. They're building the military up. They are doing war games. They're preparing, and we're watching them. We know in the next few years they're going to try to take Taiwan. And Taiwan's only hope is us. But that's also Ukraine's only hope.
This peace plan only emboldens China and shows that war does pay. But it is a draft. It was a leaked draft. Drafts can change. Will Russia agree to it? Honestly, probably not. They need all of Ukraine. There is no strategic advantage to stopping. This is something that I don't think the president has realized, that Putin is not going to stop this war because he believes he still has the upper hand. Will Ukraine agree to it? Honestly, I think that Zelensky would agree to it so that he can make Russia look like the bad guy when Russia chooses to keep attacking. All right, now the government shutdown is over. I actually have work again, so I'm headed up to Syracuse in a few hours. Grab my Christmas sweater from Bunker Branding. Grab my Last Republic novel. You can get a signed copy on Bunker Branding, or head over to Amazon or Audible. Thank you guys so much for watching. Do you have a Christmas party to go to this year and you want to be the coolest guy there? Head on over to bunkerbranding.com. Get my NORAD Christmas sweater. Features a Canadian CF-18 and an American F-22 flying jointly, protecting the skies during Christmas. You will be the coolest person at the Christmas party, and I guarantee you, people who want to talk about fighter jets will come over to you. So head on over to bunkerbranding.com and
it's a mess, guys.
Christmas party.
It's a fucking mess. I don't know. And it lets Russia walk away with a clean slate and the gains they took. And forget about the war crimes they've committed. It's all fucking bad. I don't like it at all. What is this? From Keith Edwards.
Well, JD Vance.
I've got a clip. I know people are probably tired of seeing Ryan Upchurch. I've covered him a couple times in a row. I've got a clip of Ryan Upchurch. Ryan Upchurch has convinced himself that ICE, Immigration Customs Enforcement, is in Nashville to help expose the people that he thinks are conspiring against him.
Is probably the one who is most hurt by what happened yesterday at the White House, where Zoran Mamdani and Donald Trump had a bro fest, and
JD Vance was texting like, I'm going to find an excuse not to even be there when the communist shows up.
in a way that I don't think anyone was fully anticipating, and a Fox News reporter really put it plainly about how JD Vance must be feeling. I got some reactions to all of this, and I have some.
Trump loves winners. He has a unique eye for talent, and he knows this will make the establishment Dems look horrible. He'll continue calling Zoran a communist tomorrow. Asked to clarify if he thinks Trump's a fascist before Mamdani can answer. Trump intervenes and laughs it off. That's okay. You can just say yes. That's easier. It's easier than explaining.
Analysis coming right up. And first, let us get to this, because this is what Hassan said. Hassan Nabi said that Trump loves winners. He has a unique eye for talent, and he knows this will make the establishment Dems look horrible. He'll continue calling Zoran a communist tomorrow. I think that's right. That's something I've said already, is that I think Donald Trump likes the fact that Zoran did this on his own. Zoran obviously has charisma, and I think Donald Trump also likes the fact that Chuck Schumer and Hakeem Jeffries don't like Zoran. And so there's this really interesting dynamic at play, but I don't for a minute think that this is going to change anything. I think Donald Trump Donald Trump could very likely still send the military to New York City and try to fuck things up if that's what he wants to do. But for a brief moment in time, it was like how politics used to be on some level, where folks would sometimes get along despite the political differences. I think that's maybe one of the things that people were really, really appreciating. Donald Trump went as far as to defend Zoran Mamdani, and defend the defund the police attacks. That brings me to this point, because I was wondering, like, how did this come about? How did this meeting take place? How did someone from Zoran's camp get in touch with Trump, or vice versa? And my friend actually pointed this out. I thought this was very smart, because he says in this clip here that
I think there may be a play in the background to get rid of Trump.
I
think after midterms, they hope that Trump's popularity or his ability to fucking, rile his base up or whatever might help him in midterms, which typically it doesn't, but it might. Then after midterms, they might be thinking of getting rid of Trump.
James, let's actually play a little bit of who his police commissioner is.
Are you committing to maintain the same level of cops?
I've committed over the course of the campaign to maintain the 35,000. That's the headcount that we have through the campaign.
And not replace them with caseworkers, social workers.
No, I've said that's the headcount that we want. What we need to do is make sure they can focus on serious crime.
And he just retained a great police commissioner.
This was just misinformation about him, saying that he was firing a bunch of police and going to hire social workers instead. No, he wants the same number of police that they have, but also social workers for social calls.
I believe, right?
Yes, we did.
If the newspapers are correct.
That was correct about.
He retained, I think, somebody that is she's a good friend of some of the people in my family, of Ivanka, and they say she's really good, really competent. And
yeah, so the police commissioner is friends with Ivanka Trump. So I am truly just assuming here, but I think this is what happened, is that Ivanka Trump, friends with the police commissioner, and they were able to create this moment where they got to meet. And I actually think it was a good thing for New York and a good thing for the country that this happened, if only just for a moment. Again, I do want to say that it's not going with Trump. It doesn't matter now. Trump really did just bro out with this guy.
Well, look, I hope they have great leaders. This is a man that right now I think is focused on New York City. I really think he has a chance to do a great job. We're going to help him, but I really think he has a chance to do a great job. But I'll let you answer that. Do you consider yourself the leader of the Democrats?
Yeah, he really loved him. Now, Brian Kilmeade, when this was all over, said this about how JD Vance must be feeling.
Washington, D.C., that's what we just watched. Now I'm in New York City. We were watching that press conference. I think JD Vance is jealous. I think the president wants him to use him as a running mate. They really got along fantastic. Hi, everyone. I'm Brian Kilmeade, lucky enough to fill in for Will Kane. You just saw it, President.
I think JD Vance is jealous. I think President wants to use Mamdani as a running mate. I think that's probably right. I think JD Vance watched that and was like, wait, Donald Trump can act like that with people on camera? Perhaps Donald Trump has acted like that with JD Vance. Not in public, but I've never seen Donald Trump act that way.
I saw that someone spotted Usha, and she's no longer wearing her wedding ring.
Do you think Donald Trump attributes any of his success, his win, to JD Vance? Of course not. What Donald Trump does, he did with Mike Pence, he did with JD Vance. He picks people who he does not need, people who not upshow him. He'll pick people who will never get to the success that he has. And so JD Vance is watching this and thinking to himself, wait, Trump can actually smile at you? Trump can actually lift you up? So JD Vance, I think, as this man said, he'll know more than we do. JD Vance is very, very jealous. Now, Donald Trump actually
The spokesperson came out and said she just forgot it.
posted these pictures on his blog, True Social. And as someone said here, the pure stone cold ice in the veins of not tossing the thumbs up sign here. And I think this is really smart of Zoran Mamdani to not smile the way that we know him. You know, he loves to give, he has like a really, his smile is very magnetic, and you do not, he does not look like he really wants to be there. And Trump definitely does. It's kind of amazing. And as I said, Donald Trump posted all of these. Donald Trump even posted the picture of Zoran by himself. You know, like you post a carousel of you and your friends and like the friends you like. It's very funny that he didn't even post a picture with him. He posted a picture of him by himself. Now, apparently, someone gave Zoran advice before this day.
In this hour is a highly anticipated meeting that could bring high drama to the White House. We may only hear about it, but never see it. President Trump will host New York City mayor-elect. So
I heard that's not true, that she's pregnant. That's just a bunch of internet rumors. The story is that she's pregnant and claiming it's Charlie Kirk's baby, but Charlie Kirk's been dead longer than the amount of weeks that she's pregnant.
Zoran Mamdani at the White House this afternoon, and this morning we're learning about Mamdani's preparation for this high-stakes meeting by calling on some high-profile Democrats like Hakeem Jeffries and Chuck Schumer for advice on how to best communicate with President Trump. The president has been...
All right, pop quiz. Do you think Zoran Mamdani, when talking to Hakeem Jeffries and Chuck Schumer, took their advice, or do you think they said to themselves, all right, he talked to his team after talking to me, and they're like, hey, okay, here's what Hakeem Jeffries and Chuck Schumer said to do. I think we should do the total opposite. Because I've never seen Chuck Schumer or Hakeem Jeffries ever act that way with them. Now, the right is still falling out and crashing out over this, saying absolutely insane. The White House is doing ridiculous things right now. This was such a mistake, which makes me very happy. That makes me very happy. Someone posted this saying this is J.D. Vance watching Trump and Zoran actually have fun. J.D. Vance wrote this saying, POTUS has a lot of good moments, but this is an all-timer. This is when Trump said it's okay to call Trump a fascist, and Mamdani said, okay, you're a fascist. An incredible moment. I think probably a top 10 moment I will never forget. And I want to point out, too, that
somebody posted that Trump blowing Bubba thing and said that Trump's so fucking salty, he couldn't even let Charlie Kirk have the biggest throat story of 2025.
I love this tweet. This is actually not related to what happened yesterday, but I do think it's worth saying. If life ever gives you a chance, do yourself a favor and choose a husband like Zoran Mamdani, not J.D. Vance. Pick someone who actually stands by his wife, respects her choices, and doesn't find enjoyment in embarrassing her before millions. One more reason for New Yorkers to vote for Zoran. One more, and also like he was his full self.
His wife's very pretty.
And he got exactly where
J.D. Vance's wife's very pretty. I can't believe that she's with J.D. Vance have the shit he says about like her religion. Well, I hope she converts one day and sees that the one true God and blah, blah, blah. Like, what the fuck, dude?
Wanted to be without having to throw anyone else under the bus, especially the woman that he married. Such a good point. Someone else wrote, J.D. Vance watching Trump and Mamdani laugh with each other. By the way, I just saw Wicked yesterday. You should go see it. It's so good. And someone said this is Trump seeing J.D. Vance walking to the White House after he had the time of his life with Mamdani.
That's
fucking speed.
Dude, I'm watching your stream.
You try not to laugh.
Are you trying not to laugh?
Stop.
One more. Like, it's totally backwards to everyone else, but Trump absolutely likes Mamdani more than Vance. Mamdani won on his own. Trump attributes no part of his victory success to J.D. Vance. He probably barely even thinks of him. And this is a meme from The Simpsons. Yes. All right. Well, that's all I got. I will bring you more stuff as it comes. I am currently on the way to New York at the time of...
There you go. From Keith Edwards.
Videos might look different later today, but they will be coming. Look out for them. And I'll see you soon. Thanks for watching. It's a great day to be an American. Bye-bye.
Okay. So here's an Upchurch video. I'll go ahead and give you a warning. Remember how Upchurch said he had the guy that he hires to do his finances for him, his business finance. He had that guy in his house the other day, and the guy had a typo on the paper. Instead of saying Culp, it said, instead of saying C-U-L-P, it said C-U-P-L for someone's last name, his baby mama's last name. And she was getting paid for like merch and something else. She was drawing a salary. And because of that typo, Upchurch thinks that someone else is getting the paycheck because they changed their name to that typo, and he thought they wouldn't notice it, blah, 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 because his financial advisor. So Upchurch said, I recorded this. I recorded my financial guy basically just telling on himself for 2 hours. Upchurch has uploaded that now. His financial advisor or his financial manager coming to his house and talking to him, and it's Upchurch freaking the fuck out on him. saying that I know what you guys are trying to do, and I know people higher than law enforcement. I know people higher than the police in Nashville. I know what ICE is doing. So Upchurch thinks that ICE is in Nashville. ICE is in Nashville to help him sort out the conspiracy against him from another country artist, Jelly Roll, and Adam Calhoun to make him seem crazy and like a drug addict. Okay? You just got to watch this. It's insane. It's going to be out of focus, but you just got to listen to what's going on in the background. It says, found out my ex-manager and accounting company was stealing money from me in Nashville. Now, Ryan Upchurch, with his drug-induced fucking manic episodes, he forgets entire thing. Like, he's trying to say he's going after his lawyer for literally doing some paperwork that he asked her to do back in March and saying he never asked her to do it. So I'm sure at some point he asked that his baby mama get put on payroll and draw a salary, right? Just make her an employee, say she does this and this, pay her out, we'll pay the taxes, whatever, but she'll draw a salary. So she'll have money for the baby and her own money. I'm 1,000% sure that happened, okay? But now he's forgotten, and when he gets this statement, instead of it saying C-U-L-P, Culp, it says C-U-P-L, and Upchurch is like, who's couple? Who's couple? And the guy's like, it's a typo, and he's like, the L and the P aren't even close to each other on a keyboard. Have you ever looked at a keyboard? Look at your keyboard right now. Tell me, are the L and the P close to each other on a keyboard? Why, yes, they're right beside each other. But that doesn't even matter for this type of typo. Because it's a typo where the letters, no matter how close together they are we're supposed to be in order as 1, 2, and they got hit in 2, 1. So even if it was like Q and M, right, the furthest you could get from the keyboard, it doesn't matter if they're close together because you hit one before you hit the other one. Not that you hit one instead of the other one. That's what, if they weren't close together, right? If I was supposed to put an M as in Mike and I put a Q as in Quebec, that would be like, oh, they're not even close to each other, right? But if I'm supposed to put the L first or the P first, it doesn't matter how close they are together. You fucking retard. But here we go. Bethany couple. And the guy says, so that's not what you wanted? Ryan's like, no.
Okay.
The guy's just like, okay, you told me to put her on payroll. Put her on payroll. That's not what you wanted? No. Okay.
Where's the account associated with that deposit?
He's nervous of what I had found.
Merch and fan mail. Man, it's fucking hilarious.
So I don't think she does merch or fan mail. I think Ryan asked to just invent her a position. Like, if I had a very successful business and my sister needed work for a while, I just invent her a position. You know what I mean? Like, she draws a salary. If I need her to run errands or something, she will. But put her down as, she responds to emails or something, customer service, something like that.
Okay, so what's Bethany's legal name? It's cool.
So he says, well, what is Bethany's legal name? And he says, it's Culp, C-U-L-P. This says couple, C-U-P-L.
No, this is couple.
He said that's a typo. No, he said that's close. I think's what he says. He says, no. Listen.
No, this is couple, C-U-P-L. Is it correct? Is it correct? It don't matter. It might be. And A P and an L is very far away from each other on the keyboard.
A P and an L's very far away from each other on a keyboard. The guy said, "Oh, it's pretty close. Maybe it's is that not it? No. Whoa, it's close. No. Well, maybe it was a typo. A P and an L's very far. Very far. C-U-P-L.
None of that. I would love to know. So this is what we have. Who the fuck is Michael?
So they've got an email from Bethany. And it basically is like her name, date of birth, and shit. And she misspelled. Probably typing in a hurry or typing from her phone. She actually spelled it wrong. But that doesn't work with Ryan because he's going to say, that's not her email. Hold on. Everything's a conspiracy to a tweaker.
We have. Who the fuck is Michael? That was when Wetzel was there. Who the fuck is Michael Wetzel? That was it Tim Wetzel? Who the fuck are you talking about? Not the security guys. I've never heard of a Tim Wetzel in my fucking life.
One of yours, and you can hear, this is what's so crazy. The financial advisor needs to fucking run. Ryan Upchurch's going to try to sue him. He's going to dox him. He's going to say that he just needs to get the fuck out of there. I hope Ryan's paying this guy good. Ryan's like, oh, well, that's one of the security guys. Michael Wetzel, I think, and he says Tim Wetzel. And I know you can't really get Michael or Tim, but it's probably like his legal name is Michael Timothy Wetzel, and he goes by Tim. And he's like, I've never heard of a security guard named that. Ever.
Not the security guys. I've never heard of a Tim Wetzel in my fucking life. I have all the documents. Y'all need to start making some goddamn motherfucking sense. This.
You can hear the guy sigh. Let me back up a second.
We have right here. This is her Bethany's email. That's not Bethany's email.
Oh, wait. I didn't back up.
Not the security guys. I've never heard of a Tim Wetzel in my fucking life. I have all the documents.
Did you hear him? When Ryan starts saying, I've never heard of a Tim Wetzel in my entire... The guy audibly, out loud, is like... I don't think he's scared. I think he's tired of your shit, bro. Listen.
What are you talking about? Not the security guys. I've never heard of a Tim Wetzel in my fucking life. I have all...
This guy needs to fucking run, okay? But Ryan starts saying, you need to get your fucking shit together. Would you sit there? You just manage this guy's finances, right? You have an office in Nashville. You manage a lot of people's. Would you sit there and let him fucking talk to you like this? This would be the last goddamn time he ever talked to me like that. Like, maybe it wouldn't come to, like, blows because I'm trying to run, and maybe I'm a better person than I really am because I'd have punched him in the fucking mouth if it had actually been me. But let's say it's accountant version of me, and I'm running a successful financial management business or whatever. It probably wouldn't have come to blows, but that'd be the last goddamn time he ever talked to me like this. Watch.
Y'all need to start making some goddamn motherfucking sense. This is what we have right here. This is her Bethany's email. That's not
Bethany's email that she sent where she misspelled her own name.
Bethany's email. So
that's not her email.
Fucking email is that? I don't know that. Listen, whose fucking email is that? I don't know that. Listen, y'all gotta start fucking listening, because here's the thing.
Here's the problem. Who the fuck would go through finding out who his financial manager is, finding out how to contacting him, making a Bethany email, emailing the guy, setting all this up to send payroll, not to themselves, not to the scammer, but send payroll to Ryan's real baby mama with her real Social Security number? Like, if you were going to scam somebody, wouldn't you make up somebody or use your name and your Social Security number or somebody that could get paid? She got the checks. It went to her Social Security number. She got paid. So someone's trying to scam Ryan with an elaborate hoax to pay his baby mama that lives with him? What the fuck? Anyways, back to it.
This is what we have right here. This is her Bethany's email. That's not Bethany's email.
He just made that shit up, by the way. I guarantee you it's Bethany's email.
Who's fucking emailed that? I don't know that. Listen, y'all gotta start fucking listening, because here's the thing. Have y'all not fucking figured it out yet that I know what the fuck's going on?
Classic tweaker response. Have you not figured it out yet that I know what the fuck's going on? Classic tweaker, dude.
Email. So who's fucking emailed that? I don't know that. Listen, y'all gotta start fucking listening, because here's the thing. Have y'all not fucking figured it out yet that I know what the fuck's going on? And I know what the fuck y'all, what boo-boo y'all motherfuckers made. And get Scrubs knows.
Did you hear what he just said? I know about the voodoo doll you guys made. I know about the voodoo doll you guys made. And guess what else?
I don't know that. Listen, y'all gotta start fucking listening, because here's the thing. Have y'all not fucking figured it out yet that I know what the fuck's going on? And I know what the fuck y'all, what boo-boo y'all motherfuckers made. And get Scrubs knows. Somebody way the fuck higher than anybody in the goddamn Metro Police Department. That's for goddamn sure. And
so guess who else knows about all this? Somebody way higher than the Nashville Metro Police Department. Who would that be, Ryan?
Somebody way the fuck higher than anybody in the goddamn Metro Police Department. That's for goddamn sure. And way higher than the motherfuckers in the courthouse.
Way higher than the courthouse. Way higher than the Metro Police Department. I've told somebody about the voodoo doll and the scams and stuff. Way higher than the Metro Police Department and way higher than the court system.
I suggest you start fucking listening to me and stop playing goddamn stupid. Take that.
There's no way I'd let him talk to me like that. I suggest you start fucking listening to me and stop playing so goddamn stupid.
Fucking listening to me and stop playing goddamn stupid. Take that. Like now. And you want to know what? While we're fucking at it, why don't you tell the white I know about his goddamn Metro Davis and buddies who've been doing illegal activity on the backside? How about that?
Why don't you tell somebody, Dwight or somebody, that I know about the police officers that are doing illegal activities? Is Ryan become internal affairs at the Metro Davidson Police Department? Now, who is Ryan's source on these? The conspiracy cop that claimed that all the police and the commissioners and the news station people and the senators, the state senators and people, they were all, part of a pedophile ring. Ryan's going to bring down the whole system.
Why don't you tell take that? Like now.
The guy's just agreeing because Ryan's a goddamn lunatic. Like, okay. Whatever you say, man. He's just trying to get out of here without Ryan fucking, snorting a goddamn line and pulling out a pistol.
And you want to know what? While we're fucking at it, why don't you tell the white I know about his goddamn Metro Davis and buddies who've been doing illegal activity on the backside? How about that?
He's talking to a financial manager. Why don't you tell your buddies at the police department? Aren't you may be reporting this to the wrong person, buddy. I'm just saying.
While we're fucking at it, why don't you tell the white I know about his goddamn Metro Davis and buddies who've been doing illegal activity on the backside? How about that? Why don't you tell Dwight I know about fucking him deal with his goddamn racing LLC? I'm not fucking around with you. Deal with his goddamn racing LLC. I'm not.
I know about such and such deal with this goddamn such and such LLC. He's figured it all out from the conspiracy cop, man.
Deal with his goddamn racing LLC. I'm not fucking around with you, and I ain't fucking around with him. And neither is the ICE people here neither.
What? Mic drop. I'm not fucking around with you, and I'm not fucking around with him, and that's why ICE is here. You think ICE is here because they misspelled Bethany's name on payroll? You think Trump, he does, by the way. He thinks Trump is moving in to take over the Nashville music industry because the music industry is tied to everything else, the courthouses, the real estate, everything. And Trump and Barron are coming in to take down big Nashville and vindicate Ryan because they're trying to make him look like a crazy crackhead. But he's not a crazy crackhead. It's just them setting up a conspiracy for him. Ryan literally just said, when he said earlier, I know somebody higher than the cops, and I know somebody higher than it's the president and ICE. And this is a common QAnon thing that, yeah, ICE is doing the border stuff, but really it's Trump's private. Why would they need missiles? Why do they need all this money? Why do they need these explosives? Because they're actually taking over the deep state, and they're using immigrants as, a distraction.
I ain't fucking around with him. And neither is the ICE people here neither. You can look at me like you fucking don't know what the fuck I'm talking about, but you're the fucking...
He doesn't! He doesn't know what you're talking about, right? You can look at me like you don't know what the fuck I'm talking about. You just said that ICE is going to shut down the police department for illegal activities and you're not fucking with me no more? I'm just an accountant, bro.
The ICE people here neither. You can look at me like you fucking don't know what the fuck I'm talking about, but you're the fucking ones giving me a goddamn piece of paper that says Bethany Couple and has her listed as a goddamn merch person. Okay. Who just fucking...
Found out my ex-manager and an accounting company in Nashville was stealing money from me.
Merch up. Who just had the goddamn email passwords to the merch? Won't you say that? You motherfuckers. Don't look at me like that.
I'm pretty sure he threatened him at the end. Listen to this. Don't look at me like that. Let's listen to the very end here.
It's a goddamn merch person.
And I think that's why he cut it off right there.
Okay. Who just fucked the merch up? Who just had the goddamn email passwords to the merch? Won't you say that? You motherfuckers. Don't look at me like that.
I'll fucking knock her. I'll fucking knock your teeth out. He said something there. 100%. And that's why he cut it off there. I don't know if he's uploaded more here. Oh, God.
Right now, I'm supposed to not be able to. Well, apparently I'm not supposed to be making this video right now. I'm supposed to not be able to make this video right now. That's weird. I'm here, though. Apparently I'm supposed to be like whacked or dead or killed or went on some sort of like crazy rampage. Huh.
He doesn't know.
He thinks that Jelly Roll and Adam Calhoun and everybody is trying to have him killed. He said the other day that he wasn't going to his court date, which is a mediation date before he goes to court over that Kylie Rodney stuff. He wasn't going there because he knew that they were planning to kill him at the courthouse.
What is real and what is fake? Go get him help. If not,
please.
The next time you turn on YouTube or the internet, you're going to read about it. That independent artist Ryan Edward Upchurch is no longer here.
Someone needs to get him offline and into rehab. An inpatient, like, I get it. His mom just now reconnected with him and she probably doesn't want to do this or do that. Somebody needs to get him to rehab.
Or Ryan Edward Upchurch went on a spree of hurting people.
Man, you really believed what you were saying, too. You believed it with all your fucking stupid, dumb fucking wigger heart. Sounds like somebody in a certain position may have told you that. Well, I guess somebody in a certain position must be watching out for me or something, right? Except for the guys watching after me are the good guys. The ones, if they're snatching people up and unrightfully whacking them or overdosing them, well, that would be the bad guys, right? Yeah, it would, you fucking dumb bitch.
He's literally losing it, guys. He's fucking losing it. Russian special forces have detained scammers who were extorting money from servicemen. Oh, sure. If you say so, Ryan. Wahaha. 2 Mississippi sheriffs and 12 officers charged in drug trafficking and bribery scheme. That was from a while back. That was a big story. SecDef has terminated a decade-old Microsoft program that gave engineers tied to the Chinese Communist Party access to America's classified cloud system. These are just stories he's shared. They're not faster than missiles. Trump stuns reporter with unfiltered response.
Last month, Venezuelan boats. I want to ask you, why not have the Coast Guard stop them, which is empowered by law to do?
That's what we always do.
This way you can confirm who's on the boat and ensure that they're doing what you suspect.
Because we've been doing that for 30 years, and it has been totally ineffective. It's
not ineffective. We stopped tons and tons and tons and tons of stuff from getting to the United States.
Faster boats. Some of these boats.
The boats are not outrunning the Coast Guard. That's just a lie.
But they're not faster than missiles. But we've been trying to do that for years, and so much of the drugs, 25-30%, would come in through the seas. Right now, we have, I would say, none coming in through the seas. In fact, I don't know about the fishing industry. If you want to go fishing, a lot of people aren't deciding to even go fishing.
There you go. The point is the terror, right? He just said the quiet part out loud. Why would people, if we're only hitting drug cartels, why would people be scared to go fishing? Anyways, I don't want to watch Trump.
The Supreme Court just cleared the way for Trump to deport illegals.
Oh, no, done changed her name again. I don't know who that is, but okay. Ryan Wedding Cake. Deardorff Mercury's argument. Looks like there aren't many great message for this. Try using words that might appear on the page you're looking for. For example, cake recipes instead of how to make a cake. Now that, explain that. Deardorff got some explaining to do, it looks like. That's what always comes up as this. Ryan. You tried Googling something that didn't come up, and because it suggested using cake recipes instead of how to make a cake, and your name is Ryan, that it ties back to Ryan Wedding, the guy you're losing your fucking mind. You're losing your fucking mind.
Some Tennessean finna be rich as fuck. Upchurch, how is this possible? Why is that popping up for your search? Because my fucking ex-lawyer sold my personal metadata to somebody.
I get it.
I wonder why. And when I started figuring out everybody's bullshit in the music industry, well, then what happened? Well, then there was a bunch of duplicate fake Ryan Upchurch pages everywhere, wasn't there? There was. You motherfuckers are not escaping the FBI. They're gonna fuck you. Now, on top of my lawyer, Cynthia fucking Sherwood,
The lawyer would destroy him with the claims here.
selling my personal metadata for some fucking reason. I don't even know what the fuck that means. I'm not a technical person.
But the conspiracy cop told me that the reason I'm getting weird search results is because my lawyer sold my metadata.
No, she did it because the tech guy that works for me pointed it out to me on a fucking piece of paper. Now watch this. All right, so let's get this straight. I got a fucking security team hired by the manager who quit and ran away for some fucking reason.
He's getting ready to fire all his security and have to hire new ones.
Brandon Luce. The security team that started not being on my team, so when I questioned them, like, what the fuck are you doing? They had no answers. I had a cop, a good cop, I'm not going to say his name.
Sean Taylor.
Church.
because he knows I don't know no better. He said, up church. We got some bad motherfuckers down here in ex-police department, and they only have one name. Because we found out that one of the security guards, Rob Otero, had two fucking names. Rob Otero and Austin Merrill. So, now, at this point, we have a manager from Texas who's mysterious as fuck, quits. We have...
By the way, that manager was his best friend. When he stopped talking to his mom and dad, he said that B. Luce was the only person he needed, that had always been there for him, would always be there for him. He would lay down his life and die for B. Luce. He made him what he was. There was no going back. They were family. But now it's this mysterious guy that just came from Texas.
A lawyer from I don't know where in the fuck quits after it was an easy fucking winning case.
You're losing that case. And in fact, you didn't even show up to a mandatory pretrial conference because you were afraid they were trying to kill you there. Because you thought the security company you hired to put up cameras, that they snuck in a guy from California to spy on you.
All right? I fired the security guards because one of the security guards, a good one, who is in like Secret Service school now or something.
Oh, okay.
Shout out to Peyton. He was like, yo, something's not right, bro. He's like, these people are not watching out for you. And I was like, thanks, I appreciate it. Well, then now, guess what? Now, the lawyer who sold her...
He did cancel his tour and he didn't refund anybody.
Or sold my fucking, like...
Metadata.
Personal metadata or whatever. Well, her little buddies that are doing my finances, Wilds and Taylor, are also trying to quit. And what did they give me just the other day?
Why are they trying to quit, Ryan? Why are they trying to quit? So Wilds and Taylor in Nashville is just a business management, tax consulting, preparation, and accounting services. That's all they do. Right? They do his payroll, they do his taxes, that's it. Wonder why they're trying to quit. Could it be that you cornered them, yelled at them, told them you was going to fucking hit them, and then claimed that they were being investigated by ICE because you reported a voodoo doll? I'd fucking quit too, bro.
What'd they give me? A fucking wedding invitation.
Zach, the financial guy, texted him and said, hey, we got a piece of mail for Loosen Up Records. P.O. Box 41504. Hey, guys, any reason we would receive a piece of mail made out to Loosen Up Records? No return address either. Seems strange. This will remain unopened in a Ziploc bag for handoff to y'all when convenient. Have no idea, says Chad. Why would they start putting the mail in a Ziploc bag? Because that's what Ryan did. They're just trying to play by his game. Whose P.O. Box? It's our address. It came to us. Y'all opened the other mail, but not going to open that one, says Chad. That's why it's in a Ziploc bag. Remember the video where Ryan's like, my financial guy has this piece of mail, and it's going to remain in this. So now they're taking all the mail they receive. They're going to take all the mail that they get and pre-put it in a Ziploc bag so Ryan can't be mad about them. If it's your P.O. box, then open it. Laugh out loud. What the fuck? You can tell whoever it is purposely spelled loosen up wrong. It's a fan, right? Because the last piece was a piece of fan mail. Somehow, someone has leaked this address as for fan mail to Ryan, or Ryan's P.O. box for fan mail. And some fan is like, hey, would you guys come to our wedding? Because the last piece was just a piece of fan mail. That was it. Yeah, all right. If you guys are good with me opening it, then I will. Because last time you cussed them out, put it in a Ziploc bag and said you had the FBI coming to take fingerprints. Why would I care? It's not my P.O. box. Are you okay? Yes, you do. Does Ryan forget he had a meltdown over a piece of mail the other day? You're allowed to open your own mail. I'm confused why you're asking me if you can open your mail. Ryan's a goddamn psychopath, dude. It's just a wedding invitation. to Matt and Denny, Saturday, August 23rd. It's a piece of fan mail, just like the last piece of fan mail that actually got put in that P.O. box. Well, it's just some fan's wedding invitation. Is this Loosen Up Records populating in any Upchurch online public addresses? Probably need to take that down or redress things to Music City Magic Man, Inc., so that name isn't in use. Yeah, like, why are we getting fan mail here for where you're actually supposed to send, like, billing stuff? Again, I explained this the other day. The financial guy gets your mail because he pays your bills, right? He gets your IRS requests, the tax receipt, all that stuff. He accidentally got leaked, you got fan mail, and you flipped out on them for opening it because they just probably opened all the mail at once and said, oh, this isn't for us, it's actually a piece of fan mail, here you go. Ryan puts it in a bag, says the FBI's coming. Now here, Ryan says, none of what you're sending makes sense. One, it's not my mailing address. Two, you just said it was your mailing address. For your company, retard. The billing address for your company. 3, what is loosen up? 4, whose wedding? 5, whoever's wedding that was is apparently in August based on the date. 6, I've never posted anything about sending fan mail to that address. Very confusing on why. You understand why people don't want to fucking deal with him now? Everything's a conspiracy. Very confusing on why you would text me this. I'm trying to make sense of your text, but there is none to be made. If it's your mail and your address, why would you ask me if you can open it? Well, because you flipped out and the last time I opened mail that was sent to me.
Now, what was Deerdorf saying right before he just ran away and started being like, oh.
Deerdorf is his best friend basically since birth. That guy had to leave him and was like, dude, if you keep acting like you're doing, like, someone's going to come knocking one day and try to kill you. Like the crazy shit he was saying online. Like, there's crazy people online. He took that as a death threat, that they were going to have him assassinated, and finally told him that he was just too crazy. He couldn't deal with him anymore. And he's like, I got to take care of my own life, and left. Like, in a nice way. There was no fight or no falling out. Ryan took that as he's joined the other team, and him and Jelly Roll are now trying to kill me.
Upchurch is on cocaine, man. Upchurch is a cokehead. Remember what I told y'all he said? And the FBI can fucking verify what the fuck I'm saying when they need to. But this motherfucker was like, bro, ain't your lawyer badass? Ain't she fucking great? I said, no, she fucking sucks. Why are you trying to tell me is my lawyer good? What the fuck? What relationship do you have with the lawyer? Now watch this. I found out and have proof of the financial accountant people that were doing my finances were talking to the security guard that has 2 fucking names. Yeah, they're all fucking connected. And now, when you go to fucking Google AI and type
the security guard that has 2 names, yeah, that's the one you claimed that was never a security guard, remember?
in Deerdorf Mercules argument, what pops up? Some fucking weird shit about cake. What the fuck?
Why is that funny? Cake? How to make a cake? What kind of cake? Is it a fucking wedding cake? Because they're looking for a dude named...
By the way, it didn't say wedding cake. It just said, hey, your search is too specific. Instead of saying how to make cake, how about cake recipe? That's just a standard fucking page for Google. But no, Ryan is his name. Cake, it said cake, and then cake's wedding invitation, Ryan wedding. They're trying to frame him for being a drug kingpin.
Ryan wedding. And when you type in Deerdorf Mercules argument, it's like, are you sure you didn't mean cake? Or how to make a fucking cake? You know what the slang for cake is? It's fucking money. Huh. Well, Deerdorf, how do you have all this money? What are you doing? Buying all these fucking cop cars and shit, huh? Well, you plan on acting like a fake cop or blending in with the cops? That's fucking weird. You shouldn't be doing that.
They bought his old former buddies bought a bunch of cop cars at an auction or something, got a good deal on them, and they were all driving around making videos and shit with them. And Ryan thought it was the real police at first, then freaked out, and now thinks that they're going to pretend to be cops to have him killed.
It's crazy. You know, when I started looking into these motherfuckers, this can also be verified by the FBI. They can see every fucking thing. I started asking all these individuals I'm talking about right now, even the lawyer, everyone, I started asking them, so what do you think about Trump? And they really didn't have no answer. Well, motherfucker, if you're on the right side of things.
Okay.
And if someone asks you what you think about Trump.
That's the litmus test. What do you think about Trump?
You should be like, yeah, I love Trump. He's great. Here's what he's done.
To be fair, Ryan's always been eccentric, right? He's an artist, a successful artist, or was. I mean, I feel like his videos don't get hardly any views anymore. Like he's ran off most of his fan base. But he was always kind of weird and liked to talk about UFOs and liked to paint at like 3 o'clock in the morning after he smoked a joint, blah, blah, blah. But whatever he's on now has really drug him down in the fucking dirt.
But no, not from these people. They fucking, man, I hate the government. I don't know, man. They're all evil. You're fucking retarded. That's what's wrong with you.
So they didn't say they were like Biden or Kamala fans. They said, the whole government's evil. I don't fuck with politicians, which is a lot of people's opinion in the South. If they're not MAGA, they're usually like, they're all two wings of the same bird kind of deal.
You're fucking retarded. Now, who's friends with Billy and fucking Dingledorf and Suckerfish, fucking albino Suckerfish Skyler and fucking my gay cousin Courtney? Who's friends with all them motherfuckers? This guy named Hammer. Well, if you notice, maybe a few months ago, also verifiable, I seen there was a post that was talking about this new date rape drug in Nashville. So I reposted it and was like, hey, gals, watch out for this new date rape drug or whatever that's going around Nashville. And what happened? The Hammer character goes fucking ballistic. And it's like, you're a fucking idiot. You're a crackhead. And everybody in our town is like, why is this dude freaking out? Because Upchurch is warning young women about a date rape drug.
Maybe it was about your whole body of work and not a specific post.
Don't make no fucking sense. Well, when you put everything into fucking rotation, it makes perfect fucking sense. And guess what?
When you've been up for 7.5 days, it makes perfect sense.
This is also.
I wish I could go on one of these benders just one more time so I could come in here and have one of these fucking like enlightening, connecting the dots and got red twine all over the walls and shit.
Fucking verifiable by the FBI if they wanted to tell anyone. Your boy has never done cocaine in my life. I've never bought cocaine. I've never done it. I've only seen cocaine once in my entire life, and I was fucking 17 years old in a Honda Civic with a dude named Drew on Charlotte Pike at about 12 in the morning. And I got the fuck out of the car and was like, yo, motherfucker, if you're riding around with this shit, I don't want to ride with you. Fuck that. So now why would people who know me and know me my whole fucking life.
So he has admitted that he didn't use the words, but he abused Adderall when he's in the studio, right? He said he gets a prescription for Adderall, and when he's in the studio, he likes to take a lot of it, and he works through his songs or whatever. And I know a lot of YouTube creators and musicians and artists, a lot of people are on fucking Adderall. You just tell when you're that rich and wealthy and, you just tell the doctor like, hey, I want this prescription. Now, what he's doing now in the psychosis, he has to have fucking 10 goddamn prescriptions for it or he's doing something else, right? Adderall is basically just legal meth, if you don't know.
Why?
If you don't need it. If you need it, it has an inverse effect for you, but...
Would they all run around saying Upchurch is on cocaine? Well, probably because they're fucking selling cocaine.
They would say Upchurch is on cocaine and acting like a cokehead because they're selling cocaine and they can do more business that way. Duh.
You know what they tried to do to confuse everybody, but it's not confusing because, people are a lot smarter than these fucking dweebs. They tried to do things and talk about things to misconstrue the AI when they figured out that the FBI was onto them. So what do? They've
been muddying up the AI.
Doing getting married and talking about getting married and starting wedding venues. Oh, and by the way, Jelly Roll and all of his fucking AIDS friends start making church songs. Somebody save me, my mama, my daddy, my brother. Fuck all y'all nasty motherfuckers. By the way, FBI, I know you're watching.
He's tagging Cash Patel.
this.
He thinks that they start a business or talk about a wedding, so that confuses AI. So when they're searching for Ryan Wedding, maybe Ryan Upchurch comes up and they think that he's a coke dealer, and that'll cause the local police, who are already corrupt, to kick down his door or something.
Ask Cynthia. What am I saying? You probably already know this, but
hold on.
And you know what?
I want to start it over.
By the way, FBI, I know you're watching this. Ask Cynthia. What am I saying? You probably already know this, but ask Cynthia Sherwood.
How many times are you going to say that?
And you know,
didn't he just say you already know this twice?
By the way, FBI, I know you're watching this. Ask Cynthia. What am I saying? You probably already know this, but ask Cynthia Sherwood about a chick named Olivia that worked in her office, because they both told me, because I noticed Cash Patel and everybody keep saying this FBI, Trump's FBI, insinuating it's a new FBI because the old one was obviously corrupt, right?
Okay.
Well, Cynthia Sherwood had a chick named Olivia working in her office that they said she was in the FBI. And you know what? You know what Olivia said? Olivia said she quit the FBI because she hates the FBI. Well, that's fucking weird.
President
Yep. Some people quit their job because they hate that job.
Trump looked at the Taliban leader.
You know, it's like I almost borderline like being sued because it's the only time where I can be myself.
It must suck to be that dumb. Goat's milk latte drinking.
Now Calhoun takes him.
I knows a confidential informant. Common meanings of U.S. Code 119, Title 18, Section 119, deals with the protection of individuals performing certain official duties, such as jurors, witnesses, or informants, to prevent threats and intimidation. There's a major difference in working as the feds and working for the feds. Just so you guys know, I'm going to mute it for just a second because it's got his music on it. And I don't know if he adds anything to this or not. It doesn't seem like it. It's basically him calling Adam Calhoun's kids homosexual in his diss track. Audio back. Here we go.
He don't look good. We don't look good. This is our president.
You can tell his heroes become Kanye. Hold on. Last night, this profile popped up on AI under Deerdorf's name. Notice the XO. So if you don't know, Bunny XO is, what's the guy's name? Jelly Roll's girlfriend, wife, whatever. So he's using Deerdorf, or he's using AI to say, what are other accounts that Deerdorf might have? And this one just says, hey, Noah XO. So that's got to be tagged. Noah XO? Got to be the same people. Idiots.
And I want to thank the guy.
God damn, he's having such a melt the fuck down, dude. Melt down. Let's see what else we got. Ryan Edward Upchurch, 901,000 followers. It says, the shitty elites don't want you to realize the growth of good guys. For every 1,000 followers I'm gaining, they falsely decrease 1,000 followers from what's visible. That is hilarious. There is no stopping freedom of speech anymore. We have someone that speaks our language. The first comment says, church lives in Delusionalville. Please exit to the right before you have 0 followers.
Under President Trump's leadership, alongside
FBI Director Cash, look into these slimy bastards in the second half of this video.
these partners, Treasury is targeting one of the FBI's 10 most wanted fugitives, Ryan Wedding. This action is part of a broader administration effort to stop the flow of deadly narcotics into the United States.
What's the second half of the video?
Companies to launder his drug proceeds, using everything from businesses to luxury cars to cryptocurrency. Today, Treasury's Office of Foreign...
Imagine, I mean, it kind of sounds awesome to be so goddamn delusional that you just watch the national news and you think it has to do with you.
Asset Control imposed financial sanctions on Wedding and his network. These targets span the globe. And
can you imagine his baby mom? Like, I understand it's hard to raise a kid on your own. It's Ryan's kid, and he's taking care of it and bought a house and put her up and blah, blah, blah. But can you imagine her just trying to fucking sleep and he comes in at goddamn 3:30 in the morning? He's like, look at these motherfuckers. I just found another account with a name with the letters XO in them. You know how to spell your name, don't you, Bethany? It's not C-U-P-L, is it?
Have enabled his criminal enterprise by laundering money, providing protection and intelligence, assisting in murders, and even training hitmen. Our sanctions are designed to cut Wedding and his network off from the U.S. and international financial system, just to assist Wedding by
all right, here we go.
And help our DOJ partners bring you to justice.
Oh, it's the same video. Look into these people. I wonder if it goes any longer than the original one.
Okay. Where's do you have an account or anything associated with that deposit? Then you have to begin.
Merchant fan mail. Man, it's fucking hilarious.
Someone just asked, he didn't answer. Someone just said, well, what about the deposit? Are you saying that she didn't get it? And nobody answered.
Okay, so what's Bethany's name? It's coupled. No, this is coupled. C-U-P-L. Incorrect is incorrect. It don't matter. It might be. A P and a L is very far away from each other on the keyboard. None of that. I would love to know. So this is what we have. Who the fuck is Michael? That was one that was there.
So basically, he just showed him a list of all the emails, or I'm sorry, all the employees' names, and he's like, "Who the hell is this Michael?" But he's trying to show you that Bethany's name's always been misspelled.
Who the fuck is Michael Wetzel? That was it Tim Wetzel? Who the fuck are you talking about? I'm serious. I've never heard of a Tim Wetzel in my fucking life. I have all the documents. Y'all need to start making some goddamn motherfucking sense. This is what we have right here. This is her Bethany's email. That's not Bethany's email.
Name and email.
Email that. I don't know that. Listen, y'all gotta start fucking listening, because here's the thing. Have y'all not fucking figured it out yet that I know what the fuck's going on? And I know what the fuck what boo-boo y'all motherfuckers made. And guess what else knows? Somebody way the fuck higher than anybody in the goddamn Metro Police Department. That's for goddamn sure. And way higher than the motherfuckers in the
Zach has got to be freaking out.
Fucking listen to me and stop playing goddamn stupid. Today. Like now. And you wanna know what? Y'all fucking at it.
I wonder why they don't want to work with him anymore.
Why don't you tell Dwight I know about his goddamn Metro Davidson buddies who've been doing illegal activity on the backside? How about that? Why don't you tell Dwight I know about fucking him deal with his goddamn racing LLC? I'm not fucking around with you, and I ain't fucking around with him. And neither is the ICE people here either. You can look at me like you fucking don't know what the fuck I'm talking about, but you're the fucking one giving me a goddamn piece of paper that says Bethany Couple and has her listed as a goddamn merch person. Who just fucked the merch up? Who just had the goddamn email passwords to the merch? Why don't you say that? You motherfuckers. Don't look at me like that. I'll knock the fuck out of you right now. I'll beat your fucking ass.
There it is. I wonder why they don't want to work with him. By the way, Ron is fucking severely asthmatic. He gets out of breath fucking just talking. He's not going to beat anybody's ass. He better knock him out with a sucker punch, is all I can say. Wonder why this company doesn't want to work with him anymore.
You're the fucking one giving me a goddamn piece of paper that says Bethany Couple and has her listed as a goddamn merch person. Who just fucked the merch up? Who just had the goddamn email passwords to the merch? Why don't you say that? You motherfuckers. Don't look
They've never had his merch.
like that. I'll knock the fuck out of you right now. I'll beat your fucking ass.
Under President Trump's
by the way, Dwight, he keeps mentioning, is the Wiles and Wiles and Taylor. I just looked it up. Dwight Wiles is the head of Wiles and Taylor Co. PC, the accounting firm. Well, let's see here. Dude looks like Zach Bryan on the left picture. He looks like Jelly Roll on the right picture. Jelly Roll magically just lost a shit ton of weight. No pun intended. Bunny just broke up with Jelly. Jelly's getting off the internet because of stress or some shit. And this Ryan Wedding guy goes MIA. All these motherfuckers in the music scene started wigging out on me during the Kylie Rodney case. The true crime genre of the internet, everybody all at once to the WTF level, it made no sense. During the online sleuthing, we found this random internet language, started editing up in ski resorts in California. On Google Earth, specifically a place called Homewood LLC. This is when he was on a live stream looking at places in Truckee, California. He got a street over and then convinced himself that Google was watching him live stream and changing the maps so he couldn't figure out their secret language. Which led me to Daniel Rodney, who we found pinned on the map as Handyman and Snow. Next thing I know, I'm in federal court because of my freedom of speech to say someone isn't real. Very confusing to me. So I tell my lawyer I want to take it to court. She drags it out for years, invoiced me over $1 million, and then quits the court case. My ex-friends start acting weird, telling me to stop, trying to be a detective on YouTube. I ask them why. It's fun to try to figure out stuff. Me being new to the genre of content on YouTube. They freak out, stop hanging out with me. They all quit. Deardor starts arguing with that rapper from Canada. I forgot his name. The fat egg-looking dude. And Deardor starts telling me some guys from Canada are going to kill him. I said, what the fuck? Why? He replied, for taking up for you. I told him, then don't take up for me. Like, what the fuck? I'm making YouTube videos. What's the problem? Then that led to all my friends telling me I'm crazy and Jelly Roll coming to my house to tell me a bunch of random shit that makes no sense to me. Then my friends start talking bad about me, saying I'm crazy, blah, blah, blah. My lawyer quits the Kylie Rodney case. Adam Calhoun and his Nashville rapping buddies, who all came here to not make music, start hounding me. Deardorff is trying to convince people that I'd kill myself, etc., etc. And now we got this Ryan Wedding dude missing. That pretty much matches the whole timeline. The world is looking for him. Now he's dressed like and looks like Zach Bryan and Skinny Jelly Roll. I bet my left testicle this guy gets caught by a Tennessean. He's completely sane, guys.
This is suspicious ass shit, right? So if you go to the For You page and you type in my name on, what is this, TikTok? That's Instagram. On Instagram. It says, Ryan Upchurch, also known as Upchurch the Redneck, has been in the spotlight recently due to his mysterious disappearance from social media and public appearances. His fans have expressed concern and speculation about his well-being, with some even starting petitions to demand information about his whereabouts. However, it's been revealed that Ryan faced personal challenges affecting his mental health, leading him to step back and focus on his well-being. He's now working on new projects and plans to make a comeback. Look at that shit. He's gone. Where'd he go? He's missing. I can type in literally any account of all my buddies, and it shows what phone number is attached to it or email or whatever. If I type in my actual handle, this is what comes up. All right, look. So listen to this suspicious ass shit, right?
Uh-oh.
Go to the For You page.
So, check it out, bitch boy. You done fucked up.
This guy openly knows people who have child porn. This is Timothy Faust threatening a 30-year-old man in Missouri. All pedophiles should be thrown in the ocean, period. If you hate me for pointing out people who know about child porn, then so be it. I don't care. This guy, Triplet51, on Instagram apparently knows some black dudes who have child porn, and everyone should know about it. These people don't deserve to have access to the internet or access to socialize with the rest of us, period. I don't know what this was about.
On you? I'm gonna go pay some fucking black hackers to put some fucking kitty porn on your fucking videos. Every time you get on your fucking internet, you little prick. Or make sure your ass is fucking too. Check it out, bitch boy. You done fucked up. You think that the animal's about to be worse on you? I'm gonna go pay some fucking black hackers to put some fucking kitty porn on your fucking videos. Every time you get on.
He says I'm gonna pay some black actors or hackers, meaning they're like secret agent or bad guy secret agents or whatever. But Ryan thinks he means actual black people who have child porn. But what he's saying is like you could pay people to have the government do it or these shady individuals. Okay.
Well, that's an interesting choice of words, Triple P. Ryan Edward Upchurch doesn't know the difference between real and fake. Well, you know what, cocksucker? It seems like you and your fucking group of fucking gang-affiliated criminal cocksucking bitch-ass buddies don't know what's real or who's real and who's fake. That's what it sounds like, because that's what it is. Good night. Well, that's an interesting choice of words, Triple P. Ryan Edward Upchurch doesn't...
This guy's really bothering him.
Well, apparently I'm not supposed to be making this video right now. I'm supposed to not be able to make this video right.
Oh, we saw that one already.
There we go.
We saw that one. I think we're caught up now. Even Gotcha Man made a new video. It's pretty good. Hold on. Sorry, I can't. I'm intrigued with this. This is just wild. It's fucking wild. Financial supporting.
Yo, what's up?
By the way, Gotcha Man is getting basically as many views, if not more, than Ryan Upchurch is getting right now. And Ryan Upchurch has millions of followers.
I made a video in a while, and I just really don't have time. It's been a long week, a lot of traveling. If you know me personally, you already know. But yeah, I thought I would go ahead and click this on real quick. My last 45 minutes of drive.
I do have it sped up.
I know I still got a little bit of Jared.
I'll slow it down some.
I didn't go over all of the rant, so maybe we get into that first, though. Shout out to the guy who sent me this video.
He calls Ryan Junkie Jerry, or
at the beginning,
Jerry Junkie or something.
like a promo or an advertisement for me.
Got you, man.
Hey, not bad, not bad. Look, and I don't want to sound picky, but if you could cut that weird stuff out.
Got you, man.
Other than that, man, it's perfect. Yo, let's roll through my camera roll and see what all. Or not! Have a good evening, sir. You too. Bye-bye. What was I saying? That's what's happened this whole week. I mean, I know people are like, well, yeah, I got you, man. Which, I was in a crawl space the other day, and that's what you do whenever you're at work or not in a crawl space. But let's talk about what's going on the streets anymore. The dude that gave me a shout out at the beginning of this, he's still crying. I mean, well, what about this Tim? What about that Tim? What about this Gata? What about this Gata? What a dipshit.
Got you, man.
You know, listen.
He's talking about Johnny Gobble right now.
What he tries to do is mimic everything. Like, they called him, and I'm not going to say it, but it ends with Mo. I don't care that my friends say it. Doesn't matter what my friends say isn't what I say. But anyway, he's trying to copy that called Timo. And then he thinks because when people remind the community what a piece of shit you are, and to remind them, they talk about all the things that make you a piece of shit. That's not people bringing up your past to throw in your face. That's people just saying, hey, you're a piece of shit and here's why. So the fact that you like constantly try to dig and talk about me and Tim and Chop and who, it's hilarious, dude. And you know what? You're just going to sit over there and just...
I want to get to his Upchurch part.
We can do that.
Got you, man.
Enough of that, idiot, man. There's another Johnny that was in the news today. Johnny Cashville. Bro got in a car accident today.
Man, this man just smashed the shit out of my truck, y'all.
Yeah, you see that? Dude, the front of that dude's car is all trash, man.
Johnny Cashville's also in this community of people.
He over here trying to fix his shit. Man, you fucked up. That shit cooked, Jack.
And it hit the back of Johnny's truck. I'll show you a little clip of that.
Man, he fucked my shit up. Sorry, my back and neck all jacked up.
I mean, I gotta tell you, bro. I mean, like, I hate that for you. That's a mess, man, getting in a car accident. But when you said this...
Sorry, my back and neck all jacked up.
Back and neck.
Man ain't had a neck in 8 years, and all of a sudden he's talking about my neck hurts, bro. That's never going to
He is fat.
That's crazy. That shit on the dude got in a car accident.
Oh, yeah, you cooked. Fucking feel like a rock.
Anyway, sorry about the low energy video and the gap between them. It's the only thing I can say. I've been working way too much, but I'm actually going to take some time off. I've already scheduled it. Me and Chop's got some behind the scenes projects we're going to work on. Me, him, and just the time might finally follow through with what we were going to do. Search, like, you can just go to the search button and hit time off. And I plan on using
Poked in the business.
All right, here we go.
Have fun with y'all. Hang out with y'all. But let's see what Jerry's talking about.
There's so many fucking holes poked in the business, the music business of Nashville, which bleeds over into other businesses. It bleeds over into realty.
Ain't no way, man. People told me about it. People were like, dude, you got to watch this latest one. Bro's actually holding his chin steady so he doesn't get to...
Accounting and financing, distribution, housing.
What's that mean with the dude that... What? Real talk though, Jerry. What the hell are you talking about? You said realty to begin with, and then finance and distro, and you're talking about the music industry. So does this dude think that there's like housing? That they put Jelly Roll up at a Section 8 apartment until he went big, or what? Realty, financing, distro, housing.
Hell, it might even lead into the court system.
Dear Lord, he doesn't even try anymore. You remember?
Hell yeah.
Come on here, and he would loosely reference this topic over here, and then this topic over here. Say a few facts about it that he just looked up, and the next Instagram story he'd go, oh my.
Yeah, like illegal immigrants and alien spaceships. Then he'd be like, oh, there is no such thing as aliens. The spaceships are what pedophiles use to suck up kids.
God, I just put that together. Wow. Wowzers. He doesn't even try to put the bullshit together anymore, dude. And it's, I don't want to say sad, it's definitely different. He's trying everything he can do to tie all this to this court somehow, right? He's going to rope it all in. Jelly Roll, Adam Calhoun, Justin Time, all of them, the security people. And it's all.
He's about to lose his ass in court. And the pretrial conference he refused to show up at, again, because he said they were trying to kill him.
And the mayor.
And his lawyer quit because he wouldn't shut his goddamn mouth. She told him to settle multiple times. He hired a new lawyer, and that lawyer reviewed the case the very next day, fucking quit. So I don't even think he has a lawyer for it right now.
And the reason that he shouldn't have to go to court, you could see the little glimmer of hope in what he's trying to do, but put a little bit of effort. Take a nap. Wait till he finds out that dot right there on your face, Ryan, when you were making that story. Yeah, the mayor himself, Freddie Duesenbergel. Also, his assistant, Nate Thaws' meat. Yeah, they had a meeting with Jelly Roll the other day, and they said, put the fucking dot on him.
If Trump came to Nashville and just stuck his nose in business around here for 10 minutes.
Ryan thinks that Donald Trump is going to come to Nashville and straighten all this out. I told you that when we started this story.
With some locals that knew.
That's why Ice is already here.
Look, he would take over this whole.
And guess who Trump is going to give the music industry to? Wild guess. Guess who, not Upchurch, guess who Trump's going to give the music industry to? The whole music industry. Barron. Barron is going to be the king of the music.
Whole city. And it will belong to him.
So after I get done pointing out the hilarity and the fact that he now wants Trump to step in and save him, and not from what you think, not from normal citizen issues that we have in this country, but his friends won't play with him anymore. His friends don't like him. Everybody knows he's a dork and says that, and nobody kicks it with him. Everybody thinks that he's gotten very strange, which... so he's now wishing that Trump will step in and financially take over.
He will be invested in the best solution ever.
Wait a minute. Why do you need Trump? You got Daggy. That didn't work out? I thought you and him were teaming up. And where's this damn gold belt at, dude? See, that's the thing. If you want it to work out in this world, you got to hold up to your end of the deal. If you say you're going to get somebody a gold belt and do a wheelie with them, nothing but, you got to fucking do it, dude. If you want the vote.
He will be cleaning up a huge problem that needs to be cleaned up. He will be invested in the best solution ever. Him sticking his nose in it and fixing everything because, you know, the Trump administration could do it for 10 minutes and restructure everything. It'd be better than it ever was before. He's already been passing laws for independent artists to help us on taxes because he knows there's people around here that are just fucking taxes up for us on purpose. He knows. Oh, yeah, he knows.
I'm going to go out on a limb here and take a shot in the dark and say that I don't think Trump has any clue about your little tax issue that you blamed on your mom, but then said that Belu's fixed, who is now also the enemy. Yeah, I don't think Trump has any idea about it, and I don't think he has any plan to try to help you with that, dude. I do, at the end of the day, think that it's your responsibility, and I can't believe that they're out here arresting folks like Whistle and Diesel, but leaving this idiot free? Come on, man.
Also, let's just call a spade a spade. We know a lot of the millionaires and billionaires around Nashville. They don't really advocate for Trump. They're not Trump supporters. They're slick haters. They probably have donated money to the wrong team. You know, the one that don't give a fuck about nobody. They probably are the ones who help fund money towards propaganda and misinformation, and they're already a problem.
I'm gonna set the jokes aside.
The Democrats.
Be real for a minute. How are we supposed to take you serious whenever you come on here and say that you're against propaganda and misinformation and people contributing to campaigns that are for that, whenever that's all you do is come on here and talk about how Jelly Roll wants you dead? Not true. How the whole music industry is against you and trying to shut you down when they couldn't give a shit about you. Dude, you're a flea anymore. You're
destroying yourself. And he could have been so big, dude, as an independent artist, especially. But even at his biggest as an independent artist, he wouldn't be like a mainstream, like, bankrolled by the music industry artists. Right? He's not a blip on their radar.
You literally, I've got a third of your views reacting to a video. Man, it's bad, dude. But all you do is put out misinformation and false shit. Like, come on, man. You want us to believe that you're on the good side of that?
You know, to add all the other stuff to it, that doesn't sound good.
The sad part is, like, I know his mom probably doesn't want to challenge that. She just got back in his life because he come on the internet and accused his mom of buying houses with his money and his name and giving them to people, which wasn't true, never was true. His dad came out to say, look, we just want to help you, son. Until then, we're just going to have to cut you off. Like, you need help. And came out and said, I don't know if it's drugs or what, but we'll get you help. We just want to help you, right? Because Ryan wouldn't talk to him. So he cut them both off. And so now they got like a tense relationship now that Ryan's calmed down on them and cut off everybody else. But I could see Ryan snapping and going postal and doing something crazy. Like someone else suggested, like, you're going to turn on the news and see that he's fucking done. But he needs somebody there to fucking take the phone away and have him committed, basically, at least for a program. Get through a program, bro. Like, I don't want to see you fucking on the news that you hurt yourself or hurt somebody else. I don't. Like, I would never, I like to come in here and laugh and you say ridiculous, stupid shit, and it's funny to me. But I don't want to see, you've got a kid, you've got your baby mama, right? You've got a career, you can still salvage it. You're probably going to lose that court case, but goddamn, I don't want to see you die or hurt somebody else, especially the people that you say you're closest to, your family, because that's usually somebody that gets torn up in the lashing out from the paranoia. When you start seeing her as, you know, a secret agent for the other side, what's going to happen in that fucking house? You need to get help. Anyways,
You know, to add all the other stuff to it, that doesn't sound good. That doesn't sound good. Fuck it. He just needs to give the music business to his son Barron and just
give it to Barron Trump.
Fuck it. Barron owns music now. How about that?
Barron owns music now.
So first you try to recruit Daggy and then give up on him. And then you try to recruit Trump. And then immediately in the same story switch to Barron. Yeah, maybe little Barron Trump will help you out of this situation and get your friends to talk to you again.
See, because here's the thing. Right now, people like us, we're being forced to look at problems that we would never even fucking look at if folks down here on our level were all satisfied with our day-to-day life. The shit we worry about. What do we worry about? We worry about...
What's Adam Calhoun doing and why doesn't he like me?
The shit we worry about. What do we worry about? We worry about...
How come Justin Time and all them came in Nashville and done a music thing and didn't invite me?
The shit we worry about. What do we worry about? We worry about...
How come their music thing in Nashville didn't come out yet?
The shit we worry about. What do we worry about? We worry about...
Was that actually the guy from Truckee, California that came here to install my cameras?
The shit we worry about. What do we worry about? We worry about...
Does a pumpkin have feelings?
That was pretty good. That was pretty good. Good job. Got you, man. I enjoyed that. All right, guys. We wasted some time on Ryan Upchurch. I got one more video to show you, and then we're finishing up. Dr. J sent a clip about ICE using flock cameras, the cameras that I've been bitching about. And I talked about it a little bit the other day. ICE using flock cameras to track down people. Police using flock cameras. There's actually one it's even worse than you think. Okay, so check this out, and then we'll wrap up the show. If you want to support the show, please do. Help us pay the bills around here so I can keep the show going. You can do that at the link in the comments, and then pick if you want to use PayPal, buy me a coffee, or dono clip, whatever. I meant to show this the other night, and I didn't get to it. Actually, I might have two videos.
If you see a traffic barrel on the side of the highway, it might be watching you. The Associated Press just...
So at least with the flock cameras, they're usually mounted somewhere and doing their thing. They're hiding them in barrels and cones now. The Border Patrol is hiding cameras in barrels and cones and roadside signs to try to catch you slipping.
If you see a traffic barrel on the side of the highway, it might be watching you. The Associated Press just exposed a secret Border Patrol program that is monitoring millions of U.S. drivers. They're hiding license plate readers inside of traffic safety equipment to track your movements without you knowing. Using AI to analyze your travel patterns.
If you have weird travel patterns, they're coming for you.
Algorithm thinks your driving looks suspicious, like driving on back roads or making short trips, it flags you. Then they tell local police to pull you over. They call it a whisper stop. The cop will say it's for speeding or window tint, but they're actually hunting for intelligence. Former Border Patrol officials confirmed that the agency has tried to keep...
The Border Patrol has for years hidden details of its license plate reader program, trying to keep any mention of the program out of the court documents and police reports. Former officials say, even going as far as to propose dropping charges rather than risk revealing any details about the placement and use of their covert license plate readers. Readers are often disguised along highway in traffic safety equipment like drums and barrels.
Any mention of the surveillance program out of court.
So yes, they use the flock cameras, even though that stuff is not supposed to be shared by most police departments. They are. And secondly, they're hiding them in other places.
Documents and police reports, even going so far as proposing dropping charges rather than risk revealing any details about...
Look, that's an electric cabinet, right? That would be like
details about how
near an intersection that has like a crosswalk or something, or a smart red light. That's literally like a breaker panel in your house, and they're hiding cameras in the side of them.
Details about how the surveillance works. If you see a traffic barrel on the side of the highway...
That's fucking insane, right? And then the last video I would leave you with is this one. I should have shared this when we were talking about the Republicans coming out against Trump. There's this one.
A full-blown Republican rebellion is erupting right now against Donald Trump and his foreign policy. And if this
is why Marco Rubio is now coming out and saying, oh, this is just their wish list. This wasn't our plan. And Trump saying, oh, it's not the final plan. We just want to start negotiating here because of this.
It will completely blow up what Donald Trump is trying to do. Happening right now, sitting U.S. Republican representative, Brian Fitzpatrick has just filed a discharge pension, which will force the House on a vote against a massive Russian sanctions bill that Trump's been spending months trying to hide. This is not one of those symbolic symbolic post. No, no, no. This one is a sanctions package which would go after Russia's oil buyers and hit them with 500% tariffs. On top of that, it would crush Russian banks. It would freeze Russian assets worldwide. It would stop.
This is what Congress wants to do, right? They want to go after Russia financially and fuck them. And Trump's trying to give them their wish list before Congress can do this.
Russian visas, meaning that Russians can't come into this country, something that I don't understand why we're allowing anyway. But most importantly, it would target any country who is still trying to help Russia's war machine. Fitzpatrick even went as far to say that Donald Trump is pushing, quote unquote, Russian drafted propaganda, which is a Republican accusing a Republican president of parroting Kremlin talking points. And let me explain to you how this is going to melt Donald Trump's world. You see, right now, the Senate already has a majority of folks ready to pass any kind of sanctions bill, whether it be the Senate bill or the House bill. And in speaking to senators, just so you know, I know about 90 plus that are ready to move forward with any Russian sanctions bill. Well, House has its own version, and right now they have 100.
It's rare that we have so much agreement. They don't give a fuck whether the Senate version passes or the House version passes. They'll vote yes.
In 19 co-sponsors, some Democrats and some Republicans. And if we can get 218 signatures, we can override Mike Johnson,
Mike Johnson will not bring it. It's just sitting there, and it's been sitting there for the longest fucking time. He won't bring it because Trump don't want it.
We can get 208.
The same thing we did with the Epstein, a discharge petition to force a vote.
Signatures. We can override Mike Johnson, who's been sitting on said bill, something that Donald Trump asked him to do. And heck, we even hear people like Lindsey Graham, yes, yet another Republican, saying that these sanctions are the only real way to stop Russia's invasion and to block what they call Russia's friendly peace deal. Well, I mean, Trump calls it a friendly peace deal. So this is where you come in. It's time for you to call your senators and representatives and say, hey, if this thing comes to the floor, you need to vote yes. Because this is the icing on the cake. Say the House passes it, the Senate's going to pass it automatically, and it gets to Trump's desk, in which right now Trump is very pro-Russia. Well, if he rejects it, we have enough votes to go ahead and override him. So, that's right. Call your representatives so that
veto-proof majority.
Finally, give Ukraine what they deserve.
Call your representatives, call the people that support you in Congress, and tell them we want Russian sanctions.
Is a just
before they fuck over Ukraine.
Peace. A full-blown Republican.
And then here's one more. This just came out today, technically on the show. I know it's after midnight. But so Marco Rubio's like, oh, that's not the deal. That was a Russian wish list. But we have U.S. pressure on NATO to force Ukraine into signing this deal, telling them either you sign this deal or the next one will be worse.
However, the United States is dictating to NATO, saying, NATO, we are purposely pushing Ukraine to sign this plan. Essentially giving the most blunt message ever.
Marco Rubio, the reason his job is to lie to the people in Congress is so they don't try to rush these sanctions and Trump can force this and give Russia the win, basically.
If Ukraine doesn't sign it now, Washington says the next deal for them will be far worse. This is being confirmed by multiple people that was inside that room that say that the U.S. Army Secretary Dan Driscoll, who potentially might be taking over Pete Hegseth's job, told NATO ambassadors on Friday night that no deal is perfect, but it must be done sooner rather than later. Here's the deal. The ambassadors kind of shot back at him a little bit, questioning why the United States made key negotiating keys with Russia, but without talking to any of their allies, let alone Ukraine. One ambassador saying that this was a nightmare meeting, comparing it to the same meeting that Trump had with Zelensky, in which Trump told Zelensky, you don't have the cards. We're now at the point to where European leaders are furious with Donald Trump. Which is like...
Hell, just a few days ago, the UK, arguably our greatest and closest ally, stopped sharing intelligence information with us because they're afraid that we're committing war crimes in Venezuela. Like, we're alienating the world.
Negotiated a peace plan with the person who invaded, instead of going to A, your allies, or B, the people that were invaded. Of course, all this gets worse when you realize that Donald Trump told Zelensky, you have until Thanksgiving to say yes, or if you say no, we're just going to cut everything off. So yeah, let me know what you think about this in the comment section below. We need to get support around Ukraine as fast as possible, especially if you live here in the United States. So call your representatives. Of course...
Again, if you have contacts, everybody should be contacting their representatives. I sent out emails just the other day when this first leaked. We want Russian sanctions. We want strict Russian sanctions. We don't want this fucking peace deal pushed through.
Updated, so please do share this video. Get this information.
People think it doesn't make a difference, but it does, right? Just try.
Out there and follow me for more. For the first time ever, the United States is dictating to NATO, saying, NATO, we are purposely pushing Ukraine to sign this plan. Essentially giving the most blunt message ever. If Ukraine doesn't sign it now, Washington says the next deal for them will be far worse. This is being confirmed by multiple people that was inside that room. Hold
on just a second.
That the U.S. Army Secretary Dan Driscoll, who potentially might be taking over Pete Hegseth's job, told NATO ambassadors on Friday night that no deal is perfect, but it must be done sooner rather than later. Here's the deal. The ambassadors kind of shot back at him a little bit, questioning why the United States made key negotiating keys with Russia, but without talking to any of their allies, let alone Ukraine. One ambassador saying that this was a nightmare.
All right, guys. That's it for me. Thank you all for joining us. Thank you for being here. I appreciate it. Consider supporting the show. Please, even if you don't support the show, please consider emailing some of your representatives in Washington, telling them we want strict Russian sanctions. We want to cripple Russia financially to where they have to. We don't want Russia to collapse again because we don't want the nuclear weapons just out there, right? But we need to make it so expensive for them that they can't carry on a war, that they have to back off. Ukraine gets its original borders and sovereignty back. Thank you guys for joining us. Thank you for being here. I appreciate it. I'll see everybody on the next one, hopefully sooner than later. I got to go Monday. I got to drive 3 hours total to go pick up a fucking leaf vacuum. I think it's an hour and 40 minutes one way. But I should be back for the show time. Anyways, thank you guys for joining us. Thank you for being here. I'll see you about the next one. Have a good night. Support the show at the link in the chat. See you guys on the next one.
But I can tell you this.
Shout out to my biggest fan, Bert. I've missed him.
Show, you don't have the fork and balls to call out the people on this planet.
Hope his internet bill's paid for the next 3 days.
Who they are and telling the rest of the world who they are. You don't have the fork and balls. You don't have the balls.
Okay, Scott.
Dr. J and I are getting an RV and going to China. I'm tired of living here.
Get the place and best, you know that stage is set. You better buckle up, cause you ain't seen none yet.
I'm an expert navigator, so get ready.
Shit. Piss 'em off, it's about to get lit. Get the place in the
I set a record on a land nav course.
You better buckle up, cause you ain't seen none yet. And they say that I'm a lunatic. Well, listen.
I did see he was moving, yeah.
Wit in a sixth sense for the stupid shit. Where my true believers? Y'all need Jesus. Praise the Lord, head to the extreme. All these false fucking prophets who profit off of gossip. Worshipping drums, cocking, begging for a throat deposit. Swinging fucking meat hammers like four in a thong. He's strapped to the shaft, eating his chip.
I gotta get Discord voice set up. We'll just make us a room that we can be in and the stream can hear you too. And then we'll try playing, but it'll be like the best time for me and Dr. J to get together and play the game will be like 6 p.m. Eastern. So it'll be much earlier than normal. And then we'll play the game maybe, I don't know, 1 day a week or something, and see if we can figure it out. I think it'll be fun.
You better buckle up, cause you ain't seen none yet. Here we go, I think I started some shit. Piss 'em off, it's about to get lit.
Plus, I really don't care. I could use the break from all this fucking negative bullshit.
Yet. I used to find clues too when I was high on shrooms. I found myself a tunnel that led to Jason Q's bedroom. Open his closet, I found some of his meat rockets. I strapped it to my shoes and then I flew through the roof. I found myself myself in orbit, strapped to an F-16. High on amphetamine, with Trump in between. Put on a light coat of baby oil and saluted the troops. He tapped me on the shoulder and said, "This is gonna be it." Whoa, wait. Stop. What? I'll get my files. Wait, what are you doing? Stop. Hold on. Fucking stop. Dude.
Good night, guys.
Seriously.